Election season has arrived again.
Look, now I'm not trying to sell you anything you don't already want.
This was an excellent year for the Barrett administration, as always. But even I must admit there were some minor setbacks.
Tell me, now how many times has this happened to you? That you're lounging around?
The closing of the radio station, for example. That was not good for my image.
Oh, you know what? Because I really like this town, I am prepared to offer you.
And I only have a little more than a month to make that final push for votes.
That way, if any evildoer tries to come through that door...
Last thing I need is some last-minute surprises.
Oh, what the heck? Seeing as it's you, I'll let you have up to 4% off.
Yes, Mr. Harvey. Your vacuum cleaners sound lovely.
Actually, it's Hardy? Laszlo
Now, if you do not mind, I am very busy preparing for my upcoming campaign.
Okay, Miss Mayor, I understand. Well, I'll be in town all week, should you wish to discuss upgrading your alarm system.
If I need some liniment, I shall let you know. Goodbye, Mr. Humphrey.
Actually, it's... thank you, ma'am.
Now, getting back to my campaign. I suppose it is past time to introduce myself to those businessmen from Chicago. Our conversation about their political stance is long overdue. Also, I should swing by the church. Make sure that Father Jenkins and his flock are not shifting their allegiances last minute. Leave the book alone. Nothing is going on that would require such extreme measures. Leave the book alone. Nothing. Chuck is exactly where he wants to be. Collecting rocks now. Perhaps the ones in your head are getting lonely? They will be safer here out of your reach. Leave the book alone. Nothing is going on that would require such extreme measures. I have nothing to say to the townspeople at the moment, so just keep it shut. What should I do first? Joseph told me earlier he saw the barber and his associate hanging in the park. That could be a good starting point. However, I could visit Father Jenkins since the church is right around the corner. Decisions. Do not touch, don't touch. Oh, that gives me a headache.
Okay, you got this. First, you nail this role. Prove yourself, and still the show. Second, you land the lead next year and... Whoa. Hi, Liz. I mean, who are you?
I suppose the electoral propaganda failed to give you a clue. I am Mayor Eliza Barrett, and you are?
Jeff, damn it! Wilberforce Peyton Millhouse III.
Really? There's more than one Wilberforce Peyton Millhouse?
Not anymore. Anyway, Miss Mayor, it's such an honor to finally meet you.
Of course it is. Are you feeling all right, Mr. Peyton?
Yeah, sorry about that. First week and all. What can I do for you, Miss Mayor?
Funny, Mr. Peyton, but I do not recall hiring you.
Of course not. The studio hired me.
Studio?
Did I say studio? I meant the sheriff. Sorry, it's just the jet lag. Come on, Jeff. I know it's the first week, but get it together.
Since you are new in town, you must learn the local traditions. One of them being to vote for me in the upcoming election.
Vote for you? But I just got here. Shouldn't I know what my options are first?
Mr. Payton, you have two options. Vote for me or open the mystery box.
Ooh, mystery box. What's inside?
Well, I am not really supposed to tell anyone, but for one of our brave firefighters. Inside the box is a pair of silver bracelets, a parade with you at the head and Sheriff Coltrane escorting you, and a free one-way ticket out of town.
Oh. Oh. Yeah, on second thought, I will definitely not be taking the mystery box.
I am glad we understand each other. Keep up the good work.
Miss Mayor, before you leave, would you tell me the story of Don't Touch?
You could have asked Mr. Coltrane about that.
I didn't want to bother him.
So you think bothering me is a better option?
That's not what I...
Don't Touch was a very special bear. Brave, gentle, wise. He had a true gift for stealing people's hearts. He died, a victim of the fires he fought so hard to extinguish. He had already gotten most of the townsfolk and his cubs to safety, and we could all see he was on his last legs when he saved Sam. But then, he rushed back into the building, and it collapsed on top of him.
That's horrible. Horror don't touch.
You have some big shoes to fill, Mr. Payton. Do not disappoint. Leave fire hydrants to dogs, children, and firefighters. I do not have the time to play around.
Mayor Barrett, you blasphemous, self-absorbed, treacherous heathen! You have a lot of nerve walking in here.
And here I thought the church accepted everyone, despite their past sins. Clearly, you priests are all talk and no trousers.
Good to see you, old fiend.
Enough compliments, Father. I expect you know why I am here, correct?
I don't need messages from the divine to figure this one out. It's been almost 4 years since the election, so...
I trust your congregation knows who is the best option to continue leading this town.
Straight to the point and always self-serving. Two of your most charming characteristics.
I completely agree. But enough flattery. I need an answer to my question.
You know I've always supported you, Eliza. That said, to be honest, I feel as though it might be time for a change.
Need I remind you of the pipe organ I donated to this church?
Pipe organ? What pipe organ?
Oh, so that is how it is going to be.
The organ's great, Eliza, but that was a while ago. What have you done for the church recently,
Well, if you do not appreciate the organ, I am sure the Vatican will take it back. They will probably be grateful to know where it has been all this time.
Hey, first of all, you said it was a gift. Second, however you procured it is on you, not on me.
I wonder if Pius will feel the same way when I tell him.
Forgive me, Eliza, for it seems the lamb has momentarily strayed. Very well, you have my support, and I'll make sure the congregation knows who to vote for. That said, I will need time to persuade them.
How much time are we talking about?
Shouldn't take too long. Come back tomorrow and I'll give you a status report.
Glad we are on the same page.
Eliza, I may have my doubts about you occasionally, but I know you really do want what's best for all of us. Heck, if you ran for Pope, I'd even vote for you then.
Maybe someday, but the presidency comes first. Besides, I do not care for the hat. Remember the day you decided to become a priest?
Like it was yesterday. I thought I was a dead man. My life flashed before my eyes and everything. But I prayed to the Lord and I was saved.
I think your exact words were, God, I know I might have strayed a bit. Okay, maybe a lot. But for the love of everything I hold dear, if you save me, I will devote my life to you.
And you guys showed up 2 seconds later. If I had only waited 2 more seconds.
What were you doing on that volcano? I mean, I know what was happening, but not what you did to incite it.
I was an innocent young man, wide-eyed and new to the world. I just left home to go on Rumspringa. Maybe I was running a little wild, with all the partying, the illegal buggy races, the women, the drinking, the gambling, the men, the cobra fights.
Yes, perhaps just a tad.
No regrets, Eliza. No regrets at all. Except for not calling the chieftain's daughter back. That was an oops.
Something has been on my mind lately.
Little Elizabeth, I assume?
She's not so little anymore, and I feel like I am losing control over her. She even started working at Michael's. Can you believe it?
Well, with pastoral counseling, you have 2 options. 1, we try to work through your issues using a combination of common sense and advice. 2, we can just grab that exorcism in a box I have in back and...
Let us say I am considering the exorcism.
I'm here to answer all your questions.
What comes in the kit?
Just the standard equipment. Some holy batrachotroxin water, a stake carved from the cross Jesus was crucified on, a pistol with 13 silver bullets, the tips and tricks for novice exorcists booklet, and the phone number for the Vatican customer service hotline.
Do you have any non-lethal solutions?
I'm afraid the Vatican does not deal in half-hearted measures when it comes to things like these.
I suppose I could just talk about it.
Killjoy.
I think the biggest problem is her academic performance. She is not doing so well in school.
I see. Have you tried talking with her teachers?
Of course I have. But according to Dr. Dixon, and I quote, "She's thicker than frozen peanut butter."
Have you considered homeschooling?
You're supposed to give me hope, Father, not make me despair. No teacher in the country was willing to accept the position. I even had to import the new principal from Australia. At this point, I am considering sending her to a nunnery.
Anything but that, Eliza. If your daughter were to join the church, she would turn it on its head. Her antics will bring chaos into the house of God. And what's worse, she'll probably finagle her way into becoming Pope.
I admit that would be bad for the faithful. But it would also create marvelous networking opportunities for me. How can I make her stop working at Michael's?
Perhaps try telling her to stop.
As if she would listen. Besides, knowing her, she would end up owning her own franchise and become wildly successful. just to spite me.
But wait, wouldn't that actually be a good thing?
Not helping, Father, not helping. What does the exorcism itself entail?
It's a very simple process. First, we tie the victim to the bed and stand way back. Next, we splash her with holy water. Once the vomit dries up and the head stops spinning, we repeat the process. Sometimes you gotta go like 3 or 4 rounds of the spinning and puking before it stops.
How grotesque. Please continue.
Now, if that doesn't work, we have to take more aggressive measures. Stake through the heart is the usual method, followed by burning at the stake. And if that fails, there's the classic silver bullet to the head. Foolproof.
And what if we would rather not kill her?
You might want to ask a different denomination in that case.
Are you sure there are no other options?
You asked for my opinion, and my personal recommendation is torture. I have a ton of alternatives. Judas Cradle, Blood Eagle, Tickle Torture, Chinese Water Torture.
Father, might that be based on her hitting you with a cross in front of the congregation last week?
No.
What mystifies me is that you would discard your newfound freedom so easily. And to the same old boring and unoriginal God. You should have taken up the Hawaiian deities. Now, those are interesting.
Hey, turning water into wine is pretty interesting if you ask me.
How about Pele, the goddess of fire and volcanoes? Fire and volcanoes, Jenkins. What is the best your god can do? Baguettes and sardines?
I believe the word you're looking for is resurrection?
I also sometimes failed to rise for 3 days in my younger years, especially after a party.
Eliza, enough with the heresy.
Tell me, Father, how do you keep your flock so loyal to you?
Well, we have a lot of programs aimed at benefiting our community. There are seminars, motivational talks, pamphlets, information sessions.
It sounds like you are doing plenty.
And that's not all. We've launched an amazing remote conversion program in cooperation with the Army.
I have so many questions.
And I would gladly answer them all.
What kind of seminars are we talking about?
Oh, we offer many kinds, ranging from marital advice to living a pious life. We even discuss science in some sessions.
What do the marriage seminars cover?
We examine a lot of common relationship issues. I wish we had that one when you were younger, frankly.
Excuse me?
I mean, don't you miss being married?
Listen to me, and listen well, Father. My divorce has brought me more happiness than almost anything else in my life. Life was hell back then, compared to now.
And sometimes you have to go through hell to get to heaven. Dear Lord, Eliza, I could use that in the seminars.
Fine. I expect a royalty check within 30 days. Living a pious life? What a dull subject.
It's basically a series of reminders that if you don't behave according to the Holy Scriptures, you, well, you know, go to hell.
So much for instilling hope in your flock.
Well, after 3 hours of striking terror in their feeble hearts and minds, we eventually reach the Q&A. That's where I really shine. What can we do to avoid going to hell, Father?
And then comes the talk about redemption through donation. Clever.
It's more polite to call it a tithe, but yeah.
A science seminar? Is the church finally emerging from the Middle Ages?
That seminar examines and disproves many of the fallacies of modern science.
So, just to be clear, when you say fallacies, you mean...
Debunking asinine theories, of course. The Big Bang, gravity, evolution, dinosaurs. You know, all those things you really can't see or prove.
That is quite funny, coming from someone who worships an all-powerful figure who no one has ever seen. With the number of seminars you hold, I'm surprised none are about the apocalypse.
Oh, we do have one. It's the Four Horsemen Sin Seminar. However, that's not a class so much as a front.
A front? For what?
Me and 3 other local clergymen play poker in the church basement.
So, I gather that means you are still struggling with your gambling problem.
I don't have a gambling problem. In fact, I bet you 5 grand right here that I don't.
My dear friend Edgar told me a fascinating rumor the other day. Apparently, some former Navy man is starting a wild new religion. What have you heard about it?
It's not a religion so much as a cult based around evading taxes.
As opposed to?
Not funny, Eliza. These guys make the Mormons look reasonable and grounded.
Do they now?
The hell they do! Enough of this topic.
Tell me about those pamphlets.
They advertise our weekly meetings to discuss our Lord and Savior Jesus.
Do you also have one on leprechauns?
Don't be silly, Eliza. Everyone knows those are extinct.
Really? But just the other day, Amos said one of them made off with his pot of gold.
May the Lord be with us. I'll need a week to prepare. Let's see. We need steaks, holy water, protein bars, bottled water.
Are you sure you can handle a hunt at your age?
I could use that pot of gold. Thanks to your daughter, I've had to replace that stained glass at least 6 times.
What can you tell me about your military work?
I suppose you mean our holy flock of the sacred drop operation?
Go on, then. Tell me. What are they? Crusader pigeons or something?
What a ridiculous idea. Where would we get pigeon-sized chainmail?
Father, you are looking away from me. You know, that is a pretty weak avoidance strategy. Do you really think I cannot extract this information from you?
Oh, fine. I'll tell you. Just don't do that. And don't spread this around either, all right? It's an elite flock of specially trained pigeons. They carry the word of God and drop it to those in need. Unfortunately, we've suspended the project for extra training. Apparently, they're dropping something other than books.
It would seem the name was more appropriate than initially expected. You mentioned motivational talks?
Oh, let me tell you, those motivational speeches really get the blood pumping. Honestly, they're the main reason this church is still going.
I do not mean to be rude, but this church is empty whenever I stop by. Who is attending your speeches?
Attending? Oh, you've got the wrong idea. I give the talks to myself in front of the mirror every morning. Without them, I would have quit this job years ago.
Is your faith not reason enough to wake up each morning and face the day?
Faith doesn't pay the bills, Eliza.
Are you tired of always serving the same dry wafers every communion? Have you ever wondered if there is a more appealing option?
Oh, no, not again. Eliza, we've been over this. I know you don't want to lose your corporate sponsorship, but...
Why not switch to the rich, sweet, creamy taste of Twonkies? One bite, and you will know that heaven is real.
My answer is still no. How many more times do we have to go through this?
Well, I have a lifetime contract, so...
Uh-huh. So, same time next year?
Same time next year. I am Eliza Barrett, and I approve this message. You know, Father, I have come to a realization. It might finally be time for me to confess my misdeeds and seek forgiveness for my sins.
You almost got me, Eliza.
One day, maybe.
I think it's too late for you.
I was under the impression that anyone who confessed was granted absolution for their sins.
Well, that's true, but... Well, if we start right now, we might be able to finish before one of us dies from old age.
Then let us not. I have too much to do today. Father, perhaps it is time for you to take a vacation.
Thank you for your concern, Eliza, but I'm fine. My flock needs me, and I have sworn to serve them.
Well, if you change your mind, I have heard Cancun is lovely this time of year.
Well, even if I wanted to, I couldn't. Vow of poverty, remember? How can I afford that?
Is that not what the little ritual with the plate is all about? I believe it is time I return to my duties.
Go then, and may God watch over you.
That is a one-way ticket to the hospital. Pride, avarice, lust, envy, and wrath. 5 out of 7 is not bad, but I should return after I have collected the whole set. Leave fire hydrants to dogs, children, and firefighters. The last thing my campaign needs is for the paparazzi to catch me digging through the garbage. Re-elect Mayor Barrett. If it ain't broke, don't swap horses. There is no rest for the wicked. Eliza Barrett. You say corruption like it's a bad thing.
No, Bombini! You capito niente! You have to go down in the third round. Third round, capiche?
And you, Piccolo, you are hitting him too hard. He has to last until the third round, so tone it down.
Come on, mister. We've been at this for hours. I heard in places I didn't even know existed. Can we take a break?
Fine, take 5, Bambini, but you have to practice for the match. Otherwise, no reward.
You'll pay for my sister's medicine if we do this, right?
I am a man of my word, Bombino. You entertain my amici tonight, and I'll get your sister some high-quality medication.
All right then. For Sandy!
Okay, for Sandy.
Would someone care to explain exactly what is going on here?
Niente, Syndica.
Actually,
Actually, we were just teaching him about the beauty of sports. Right, Bombini?
yes?
In that case, I expect you to be on your best behavior. You are representing our town, and therefore me. Understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, if you will excuse me.
Arrivederci, Miss Mayor.
And what are you children doing?
My sister keeps getting worse. The hospital won't let us in, and we can't go back home. So we're dealing with the problem ourselves.
Initiative. That is a quality often lacking in today's youth. I'm impressed, Mr. Moore.
Yeah, thanks, but that's not going to help my sister. You're the mayor! Isn't there anything you can do?
I promise to look into it, but that is all I can do.
Uh-huh, sure. Did you need something?
How are you kids settling in?
Not to complain, Miss Mayor, but it could be better.
And it could be far worse, considering where you came from.
Don't get me wrong, we're thankful. We really are. It's just, we're not sleeping well. The gym stinks like sweaty socks. Plus, the coyote's crying keeps us up at night.
Believe me, I am just as delighted with the situation as you are. Unfortunately, I am afraid you must make do for the moment.
Miss Mayor, this might be a weird question, but what is our situation exactly?
I beg your pardon?
It's just that ever since we got kicked out of Corona, we don't know which end is up. Are we still orphans if we don't have an orphanage to call home? Are we still native Coronites? Do we even actually live here, or are we gonna get kicked out again? We don't have to cheer for the coyotes now, do we?
Now, Gregory, it is not the orphanage that makes the orphan. It is the lack of parents that makes you an orphan, and no one can ever take that away from you.
So, we're still orphans.
Yes, and you always will be.
Well, that's good to know, I guess. Okay, so how are you gonna make us part of the town? Can we have a house? Or maybe families? I bet you could adopt us. Your house is ginormous.
Ugh, 5 smelly little ragamuffins laying waste to my home? No, thank you. 1 is quite enough. You keep trying, kiddo. You can do it. Ah! Why is water shooting out of your eyes? Oh, right. Did the mayor of Corona ever explain why you were relocated?
Yeah, he said he'd arrange it with you. We were just supposed to be here for a few days. Well, he made some big improvements to the orphanage.
Oh, yes, the badminton court.
Badman what?
I am not pleased to bring you this information, but your former home is now flattened under a state-of-the-art sports facility in the mayor's newly expanded backyard.
That lying, red-faced mother...
Language! But know that I deeply share the sentiment. Since you may be here for a while, shall we get to know each other?
I guess. What do you want to know?
How did you all, come to live together?
You mean how we were orphaned? Why do people always ask that?
I know it is a very personal question, but I would like to know.
Well, we all have different stories, obviously. Whose do you want to hear?
What happened to you and your sister?
It happened pretty recently, actually. Our parents were on vacation in Hawaii, visiting Pearl Harbor when...
Oh, God, Gregory. Did they die in the attack?
Die? Oh, no, they're not dead.
Wait, what? Then how are you orphans?
Mom and Dad met a crooked salesman, Lardy or Hardo or something. And he sweet-talked them into buying this big condo. Long story short, it was a scam. They'd run out of money and had to declare bankruptcy. The mayor seized all of their assets in Corona to help pay off their debts. And then he kicked us out of our house. That's how we ended up in the group home. Our parents never came back for us.
There is a lesson to be learned here, Mr. Moore. Never trust a door-to-door salesman. On the bright side, your parents are in a better place now. Tell me about Mr. Turner's situation.
Oh, Joey's story is really sad, in more ways than one. See, he went on a family trip to the Grand Canyon. They were having a great time, but then...
By George Washington's iconic white wig! Please do not tell me they jumped!
What? No! Joey just wasn't paying attention, so he got into the wrong car and fell asleep. It just so happened to be the mayor of Corona's car. He slept all the way back to Corona. By the time they realized what happened, Joey's family was long gone. The mayor tried to track them down for weeks with no luck. Finally, they just dropped him off at the orphanage, and that's that.
It is a pity I never took the offspring to the Grand Canyon. How did Mr. Lee become an orphan?
I don't actually know if he ever did become an orphan, or if that's just the way he was born.
What on earth does that mean?
He never had a mom or dad. We were just playing in the park one day and poof! Bobby appeared in a flash of blinding light, clothes and all.
You want me to believe this was a case of spontaneous conception? Who do you take me for?
Hey! Betty keeps telling the same story and everyone believes her.
That ungrateful little... None of those stories were true, were they?
No.
So, you lied to me?
Only in the sense that you expected me to tell the truth in the first place.
Well, I cannot wait for your new families to arrive here tomorrow and adopt you all.
Yay! We're getting adopted?
Haha, no. And this is why we tell the truth, so people do not get hurt. Let me ask you something else.
Fine by me.
Do you have any remaining family?
Well, we have an uncle.
Wonderful. Where does he live? I can have you sent to him immediately.
Yeah, that's the thing. Please don't.
I feel compelled to ask why.
He has too many rules. Don't run in the house. Eat all your vegetables. Don't play with that white robe. It's not a ghost costume. I'm going out until morning, so keep the doors locked.
Forget I mentioned it. In fact, I think you should give Sheriff Coltrane your uncle's address immediately.
Yes, ma'am.
What is it like, being classmates with my offspring?
Who would that? Oh, right. Betty. I really don't want to answer that.
If you know what is good for you, you will do as I say.
Wow, deja vu! Like mother, like daughter, am I right?
Gregory?
Your daughter couldn't graduate from clown college. She copies our answers on every test. She tries to make us do her homework, and if that wasn't bad enough, she somehow convinced the hamster to kick his dirty wood shavings onto her cafeteria food! Ugh!
On one hand, I am pleased to see her working so hard at something. On the other hand, she is grounded, effective immediately and in perpetuity.
Look, Miss Mayor, let's make a deal. You get us real food, not from Mike's, not from the school, real edible food. If you do that, we'll tell you whenever Betty's about to do something stupid.
You know what, Mr. Moore? You have yourself a deal. I have all the information I need.
If you say so.
What is it with the boxing gloves?
Oh, those nice gentlemen over there came to us this morning. They said if we gave their friends a good show, they'd give us medicine for Sandy.
What kind of show?
Tonight, get ready for the fight of your lives at Cooper's Manor! You will be witnesses to the match of the century! Greg Formula-Fed Moore versus Bobby Babyface Lee!
Oh, I see. The very best of luck, I suppose. I will be going now. Do behave yourselves.
Whatever.
I have socialized enough for one day.
I don't know which I enjoy more, Miss Peanut. These.
Oh, hello. Mayor Barrett?
Miss Moore, dear, you really should get that cough looked at.
I'd love to, but we don't have insurance. The hospital won't even let me in the front door. Any news on our situation?
Corona's town hall stubbornly refuses to take my calls lately. Something smells rotten in that snake hole, but I have no interest in going there to find out what.
They don't want us back, do they?
Do not jump to such dire conclusions, young lady. Tell me, are your accommodations sufficient?
Oh, the high school gym is fine, Mayor Barrett. But are you sure the coyotes are okay with us sleeping there?
Of course they are. I swear that team must be cursed. Can you even imagine something worse than losing every single game you play? That is what I thought. Well, do take care, Miss Moore.
This morning is a lot cloudier than I anticipated.
There's a predator nearby.
Good morning, Dr. Dixon. And you must be Ms. Peanut, the new principal.
In the flesh. And you are?
Eliza Barrett, your mayor, like it or not.
Oh, right, of course. Good to meet you, Mayor Barrett.
Well, I must say, I'm surprised to see you here already. I had expected you to stay in Australia until the beginning of the school year.
I know, but I just couldn't wait to get started. I like to go in and get the lay of the land before a hunt begins. The climate, the plants, the hiding spots for prey animals to shelter from the beast.
I beg your pardon, the beast?
Yes, the beast. A student with unprecedented powers of chaos and destruction, who compulsively seeks the thrill of confusing their prey and driving it to madness. Many have fallen to her attacks. Students, teachers, principals. But she's met her match in me, Ms. Mayor. I'll succeed where all others have failed.
Well, it seems that Dr. Dixon has neglected to inform you that this beast is my only child. And she has a proper name, you know.
You of all people saying that.
Back already, Ms. Barrett?
I have a few more questions I would like to ask you. You should probably save this enthusiasm until you really need it. The school year will not start for over a month yet.
Oh, I can't. I'm excited to get cracking. It just feels wrong to be sitting here and soaking up the sun when the beast, I mean, your daughter, is on the loose.
You may believe you are capable of dealing with my daughter, but I assure you, she is far worse than your average juvenile delinquent.
Listen to her. She's actually right about this.
I guess it couldn't hurt to see when my predecessors went wrong and learn from their mistakes.
You've already made the biggest blunder possible. Coming here in the first place.
What would you like to know about my daughter?
Just the normal sorts of things you need to know when hunting specific quarry. You know, her diet, habitat, behavioral patterns in the wild. Oh, is she a social animal? Does she have a pack, or is it more of a lone wolf situation?
I do hope, between all those metaphors, that you remember we are dealing with my child, not a wild animal.
That's what parents always say about their kids. Teachers, however, we tend to see the truth.
If by habitat you mean where she spends her time, she's usually either working at Michael's or grounded.
Except for during school hours, I reckon.
If you actually manage to catch my offspring inside the school building, I suggest you have a fire extinguisher close at hand.
A chronic truant with pyromaniac tendencies, eh? Interesting.
How can I describe my offspring's behavior? Think of whatever a normal person would do, and then expect her to do the opposite.
Well, that's not uncommon. Are there any patterns to her behavior that you've observed, and habits or...
Forget about her habits, Miss Peanut. You should be worried about the things you can't predict. Like the time she trained all the dogs in town to start howling at 2 a.m. Or how about the time she took hostages until we got rid of all the broccoli in the cafeteria? And there was this time she found a screwdriver and just started randomly removing screws all over town. I'm still too scared to sit in my own chair.
Now that is what I call a lifetime of crime.
Lifetime? All of that happened just last week, Miss Peanut.
I am not sure why her diet is important, but I pack her a healthy lunch with fresh produce every day.
And she returns it all to Lorraine and uses the refund to buy Twonkies.
You are telling me that you watch my child stuff herself with cake every day and never once thought to intervene? Very negligent of you, Dr. Dixon.
I never said she ate them. She feeds most of them to the class hamster in exchange for test answers.
So that is why my offspring fails her exams? Because she gets her answers from a rodent?
No, if she did that, she might actually pass. Garrick outscores her on everything. I have no idea what she does with the answers, but she sure doesn't read them.
My offspring has excellent people skills. She gets that from me, of course. But yes, I suppose she has a pack.
Look, Miss Peanut, Betty's pack is mostly a collection of random animals.
What animals?
I've seen her with pigs, chickens, cows, coyotes, raccoons, pigeons. Hell, I even saw her trying to befriend that cougar yesterday.
That was why she came home with her clothes all shredded? She told me you attacked her with a cheese grater.
Oh, come on, Eliza. That's ridiculous. You know damn well the school doesn't have the budget for cheese graters.
Bringing predators and prey together? Without anyone trying to eat each other? Fascinating.
I think it would be best if you just observed my offspring on your own. I would not want to ruin any surprises. In fact, I would prefer to talk about something else. Why did you choose such a difficult, demanding job?
It all started when I was in preschool. We'd had the worst relief teacher ever. No idea what he was doing. Drank all day. Can't fully blame him though, we were quite the rowdy mob. Well, I guess we got to be too much for him because one day he just vanished. Along with everyone's lunch, the tuck shop's cash box, the principal's earrings, and the pool.
He stole a pool? Why would he do that? And more importantly, how?
I don't know how, but I'm guessing he swiped the pool because he also took our mascot, Croco. Oh, poor old Croc. I hope he's all right wherever he is.
Maybe. Although crocodile leather was terribly trendy a few years back. Oh, pardon me. I was just thinking aloud. You were saying?
Anyway, there weren't any other substitutes available, so I took it upon myself to lead the lesson. I did such a good job that they let me take over the class for the rest of the year. The second I held a ruler in my hands, I felt the same rush of power drovers do when they use a cattle prod. That's when I knew I was born to be a teacher.
Why are you so confident about your chances with my offspring?
Well, you obviously hired me because of my achievement record.
And because no one else would take the job.
I've turned plenty of students' lives around. Chronic absentees, kids with sleeping problems, kids who repeated the same grade several times. Any problem you can think of, I've probably already solved.
Give me an example of how you helped an absentee student.
Well, there was little Timmy Lung. He never showed at school. They even had to put a blank square next to his name in the yearbook instead of a picture. Well, I decided that if he wasn't going to come to school, we'd just bring school to him. I hired a team of good, strong blokes and had them build a new school around Timmy's house overnight. He never missed a day after that, let me tell you.
Impressive. But you will certainly not do that around my house. Or my pool.
Damn it!
Oh, see, I told you she wouldn't go for that one.
I guess we should return those bikinis then.
What sleeping problems did you solve exactly?
Ah, that was when I was working in the Philippines. This one girl, Ligaya, just kept skipping class. She was always in bed, so we thought she had some sleeping disorder. But then her mother told us Ligaya had never been sick a day in her life. So I decided to investigate. I climbed a tree and waited outside her window for days, tracking her movements. In the end, I realized she wasn't sleeping at all. She was just far too emotionally attached to her bed.
That does sound rather unusual. So, how did you handle it?
It wasn't hard at all. I called an electrician, a mate of mine, and had him modify the bed a bit.
But what would that... Oh, I see. Out of curiosity, how many volts?
About 200, anytime she touched so much as a pillow. She begged not to have to go home and sleep there.
Cruel, but effective. Repeating a grade multiple times. That sounds like a difficult case.
Oh yeah, that one really was a challenge. See, I was part of this teacher exchange program and they placed me in Jacksonville, Florida. One poor lad, Joseph, had been in the 3rd grade so long he was growing a mustache. He claimed he couldn't focus because he was possessed by demons. Now, kids will say or do anything to get out of schoolwork, but he took it too far. One day, I announced a pop quiz, and his head started spinning around like a top.
That's kind of an overreaction to a pop quiz, if you ask me.
What did you do with such a disruptive student?
Oh, we set him to some good hard work. Sweeping, mopping, few light repairs here and there. All that physical labor helped clear his head. If idle hands are the tool of the devil, young Joseph wasn't much good to him anymore.
Yeah, but did it help him move up a grade?
No. Unfortunately, he disappeared not long after he started making progress. I still carry his first passing test around with me, just in case I ever see him again.
Perhaps you should drop by Town Hall sometime. You may find a little surprise. It has been lovely to meet you, Ms. Peanut, but I must be off. If you would excuse me.
Oh, wait. One more thing before you leave. Could you tell me where I might stock up on rations?
Any place except Mike's Diner. It can be quite dangerous if your system is not accustomed to the local cuisine.
Oh, please. I've been boxing kangaroos and surviving on raw snakes since I was a sprog. I'm sure I can handle whatever American cuisine is.
Why do I feel so cold? Oh, Eliza Barrett just arrived. Now it makes sense.
A pleasure to see you too, Ms. Dixon.
Well, are you blocking our son for a reason?
Yes. I have some questions, if you would. I am starting to think I gave you too much vacation time. Perhaps our students would benefit from a year-round instructional model.
I know what you're thinking, and if I were you, I'd reconsider.
Oh? And why should I?
Well, given the unique economic and social pressures of rural education, as well as the fact that the school acts in loco parentis and must ensure a safe learning environment for all students, we simply wouldn't have the resources to keep Betty enrolled. She'd have to be homeschooled.
You would not dare.
Wanna risk it and find out?
Damn it. If I had known she was going to be such a political liability. How are you liking your new position, anyway?
It depends. Some days I wonder why I took this job. Other days, I simply regret it.
It sounds similar to parenthood. Nevertheless, your answer surprises me. Considering you begged me for the job, I thought you enjoyed it more.
I needed the fresh start and the distraction more than I needed the actual job, frankly.
And from all the things you could have chosen, you picked teaching? Why not train the monkeys at the zoo? It seems more emotionally rewarding.
It was the best idea I could come up with for making sure future generations don't repeat our mistakes. That, and the world doesn't seem ready for my molecular gastronomy experiments.
Let us discuss your past.
I'd rather not. Besides, I'm sure your big, tall friend at the tiki bar has already told you everything.
He has told me what he could, but he only knew so much. I must ask you to fill in the blanks. Keep in mind that classified does not apply to me.
You will get us both in trouble.
When did that ever stop me?
Fine, I'll answer what I can. Or what I feel like answering.
How exactly does one end up in your former line of work?
After the attack on Pearl Harbor and the declaration of war on Japan, I was encouraged by Julius to collaborate and assist him with some calculations.
So you were just Oppenheimer's human calculator? How disappointing.
I mean, this calculator here did the math for the most powerful weapon in human history.
Please, if we are talking explosions, you know my offspring has you beat.
Don't be absurd, Eliza. You know she...
Look at that mushroom cloud, Peaky! I told you there was no such thing as too much plutonium!
Hey, where's Roscoe?
I stand corrected.
Why did you want to join a project like that? You must have known what the result would eventually be.
It's hard to explain to someone who isn't a scientist, but think about it. It had never been done before. It was a huge opportunity for both scientific advancement and the war effort. And I had the chance to collaborate with some of my heroes. Look, if Roosevelt hired you for a project you didn't totally agree with, you'd still do it, right?
I do not think so. In politics, principles are everything.
Good one. But seriously, you'd have to understand that the chance was just too good to turn down. And I have to say, we really outdid our expectations.
Oh, you outdid yourselves, all right. And we are still not cognizant of what that excellence will cost the world.
Yeah, I know. I haven't forgotten that part. It's a beautiful day. Let's not bring back any ghosts from the past, okay?
Your lucky ghosts cannot cross the oceans. 2 cities worth of specters sounds like more than Amos could handle. On a scale of 1 to thermonuclear war, how guilty do you feel?
Oh, I think you know by now. Can we please talk about something else?
I just thought I would remind you. After all, we must learn from our mistakes.
Oh, so that's why Betty is an only child.
Was there ever a point where you thought to yourself, hey, maybe we should slow things down, try to improve the microwave oven first?
After the first detonation, I did think that perhaps we had made a mistake. Mankind was never meant to play with life itself this way. On the bright side, in one of our breaks, we did manage to improve the microwave. We call it the Bite Nuker. It could cook sealed cans of Chef Mike's meatballs in 5 seconds flat.
Wait, what?
One of Hilbert's unsolved mathematical problems. Why do Mike's meatballs taste like sewage when cold, but amazing at nuclear temperatures?
Well, I never expected this question would lead to a whole conversation about Michael's meatballs.
Oh yes, Mike's meatballs. You never see them coming.
This is entirely too gloomy a topic for such a lovely day. Shall we drop it?
Oh God, yes, please.
Are you happy with the class schedule for next year?
Not at all. I understand that this is grade school, but I really need more intellectual stimulation. I have multiple advanced degrees in highly complex disciplines and...
Is this the part where you list all the fancy pieces of paper you have collected?
I don't brag about my accomplishments. Not my astrophysics degree, not my chemistry degree.
Yeah.
Or my master's in engineering. Or the triple doctorate in cultural, social, and physical anthropology.
My God, you must have a lot of free time.
And I have my teaching degree, my 200-hour TEFL, and my degree in culinary arts. Well, actually, I haven't finished that last one yet, but I'm nearly done.
An unfinished culinary degree. This is deeply distressing news. If you are not appropriately qualified to teach, I'm afraid we must adjust your pay grade.
If you do that, every field trip the children will take next year will be to Town Hall. And I'm bringing the hamster.
It was worth a shot. We need to talk about my offspring's academic performance.
Eliza, it's a beautiful day. Why do you want to ruin it by talking about your daughter?
I need to make sure you are doing everything possible for her to graduate. Soon.
Graduation? There's more chance of Ben French kissing Stalin than there is of Betty graduating. She's a mess, Eliza. She even forgets to feed the hamster.
Are you sure? That hamster has clearly never missed a meal. Dr. Dixon, I know Betty is not the brightest, or the most intellectual, or the smartest, or the not dumbest, but,
For Darwin's sake, Eliza! Not that I care, but you're her mother. Is there nothing good you can say about her?
Of course. She is very good with animals. Although she believes she can communicate with them.
Thinks she can talk to animals, huh? That gives me an idea. Look, since Betty will never pass, why don't you have her join the circus?
You disappoint me, Dr. Dixon. I thought you were taking this seriously.
Oh, I am. Think about it. She'd be away from home, she'd travel, she'd meet new people. And more importantly, she'd cease to be a problem for either of us.
There must be some way to raise my offspring's grades for the year. What about her science project? Something about potatoes. She was so proud of it, called it her greatest achievement.
Well, I wouldn't call it the greatest anything, or even an achievement. Still, that potato battery did come out quite nicely. Imagine my surprise when it didn't turn the room into a nuclear wasteland.
I believe that is more your area of expertise. If she did well, why do her marks not reflect this?
Eliza, it was the 3rd grade science fair. Is she in 3rd grade?
This is outrageous, Dr. Dixon. Why was my offspring punished for showing initiative?
It's not that, Eliza.
Then what was it? Because I am certain she had no trouble surpassing a few 8-year-olds.
Are you? Are you really? Look, if it's any consolation, she wouldn't have come in 2nd had I graded it. Hard to beat a project that's powering the entire school, you know.
Oh, is that so? Then you would not mind if Town Hall stopped granting you subsidies.
Look, you stop asking where that money is going, and I let Betty move up to the next grade. Deal?
Pleasure doing business with you, Doctor. Do you think she's losing sleep over facing Betty next fall?
See for yourself.
Crikey, that's a big one.
Does that answer your question?
Seriously, do you think she will be able to handle Betty?
I don't know. I'm concerned that she'll fall apart once she meets her, just like the others did.
She has been fully briefed. I told her everything there is to know about Betty, and I think I know my own child, Dr. Dixon.
I don't think you know her as well as you think you do, Eliza.
Wipe that smug look off your face. What are you not telling me?
Where do I even start? Would you care to hear about the forgery, the bullying, or the tantrum?
Another forgery? Well, what did I allegedly give her permission for this time?
Why don't I just show you? Here's the last note her mom sent me.
Dear Ms. Dixon, how are you? I am fine. Betty cannot come to school today because she is dead. Actually, she'll be dead for the rest of the year, so don't bother sending any homework home. Stay sexy, Eliza. If only she had nailed the closing line.
Honestly, it almost fooled me. I went to your house to tell on her, and I saw a coffin in the window.
I suppose we should work on drafting a formal letter over the summer.
She got the signature right, though.
I knew I did not approve that allowance increase agreement. Damn it, offspring! My offspring has some flaws, but I would never call her a bully. What happened?
Oh, you will love this one. She grabbed the exchange students and painted them purple from head to toe. Whenever someone asked, she just told them, they're Smurfs, deal with it.
What even is a smurf?
An excellent question, but I have no answer to.
I must admit, it is going to be hard not to laugh when I spank her for this one.
Honestly, I didn't call you about it because it was so funny.
What do you mean by a tantrum exactly?
Well, she failed the test again and told me she'd hold her breath until I changed the grade.
I imagine my offspring actually went through with it.
Yep, fainted out cold right there in the classroom. Don't worry, Eliza, she probably didn't do too much damage. Well, I mean, you have to have brain cells before you can deoxygenate them.
Enough. I know more than I wanted to.
Wait, one more thing. She keeps making up words.
Good. That shows creativity.
And when I correct her, she refuses to accept it and says that's what I said in the first place.
Gaslighting people, twisting their words around. Maybe she has a future in politics after all. That will be all, Dr. Dixon. I must be on my way.
Wait, Eliza, have you heard from the old principal since he left?
Mr. Feeney, not a single word. The nerve of that man, vacating his position without so much as a warning.
He gave you more than enough warning, Eliza.
I do not recall anything. Are you sure?
I know he called you 100 times, and he wrote you at least once a week. And I know you received the No Betty Day petition. Everyone in town signed it.
Again, none of that rings a bell.
Really? How about the massive neon pink blimp that read, Eliza, it's either me or Betty? Does that ring a bell?
But did he make an appointment? I always have time for my citizens, provided they follow the correct procedure.
Eliza, a word before you leave.
Dr. Dixon, a raise is out of the question, no matter how you feel about it.
You know, someone with my skills and intellect could be working.
Could be working where, Augustine? Correct me if I am wrong, but did you not beg me to give you a job? A second chance at doing good in the world. Is that not what you said? Shaping young minds to create a better, more peaceful future. But if you have moved past all the death and destruction you caused, then by all means.
Okay, no raise. I get it.
Ah, what did I tell you, Marco? It's about time we met La Syndica.
Sindaca. That is Italian for...
Please excuse us. It means mayor. Our grasp of English is never mind.
Do not be concerned. Mayor Eliza Barrett extends a warm welcome to everyone who is eligible to vote.
Forgive our manners. Let us introduce ourselves. My name is Frank Cooper, and mi amico here is Marco DeLuca.
Pleasure to meet you, Syndaca.
To what do we owe such a distinguished visit?
Gentlemen, as you may know, there is an election coming, and I am looking to extend my influence.
Ah, yes, the election. What do you think, Marco? Should we vote for her?
We could vote for her. What might be in it for us if we did?
Are you insinuating a bribe of some sort?
Bribe? What an ugly word.
I'd say it's more of a we scratch your back, you scratch ours kind of situation.
And how exactly do you suggest we do that?
Please, Marco, elaborate for La Syndica.
This town could certainly benefit from one of our company's specialties, rental security and protection. Most businesses are already on board, but we're having some trouble convincing Linda Valentine.
Allow me to guess. She threatened to rent you into next week.
Young people these days.
I suppose if I manage to persuade Miss Valentine to sign, you might be persuaded to vote for me. Am I correct in my assumption?
Exactly.
Gentlemen, you have yourselves a deal.
I like you, Syndica. Make sure she signs everywhere she needs to.
Since you are new in town, we should get to know each other. It seems as though your new life happened rather quickly. It is almost as if you just appeared one day in that lovely mansion, with your new business fully operational. That is unusual, is it not?
All right, enough of this nonsense. Are you wearing a wire? Are you setting us up?
Marco, save your spy games for the Bombini. It's a long story, but suffice to say we had a disagreement with our former employers in Chicago.
Relocating over a simple disagreement seems a bit excessive, Mr. Cooper.
Well, when disagreements turn into death threats, you are left with no other choice.
Yeah, luckily for us, the feds offered us protection and a relocation package in exchange for our collateral.
And what exactly was this collateral, if I may ask?
Oh, some client lists, a couple phone numbers, a jar of 140-year-old sourdough starter. Nothing big, just enough for them to help us relocate.
Truly, El Amigo Ortega went above and beyond our expectations.
Why did you choose this town for your relocation?
Agent Ortega told us the sheriff here is one of the best law enforcement officers he's ever seen, and that he wouldn't trust anyone else to protect us.
Indeed. We have enjoyed the lowest crime rate in the country for over 20 years, thanks to Amos.
Knowing you and Ortega share the same opinion of him puts our minds at ease, Syndica.
Just be sure to keep that information to yourselves. If Sheriff Coltrane knew I was satisfied with his performance, he might start slacking off.
How peculiar. Agent Ortega said the exact same thing.
I'm interested in hearing more about your company.
Ah, yes, Rhino Co., my pride and joy.
At your current expansion rate, nothing seems to be out of your reach. And, as a potential investor, I am very interested in where your company might be headed in the future.
Sure, we're getting into the mining business, as well as insurance and protection services. Of course, we will not abandon the classics. Tourism, construction, funeral services, and contract killing.
What was that last one again?
Contract billing, boss. You meant contract billing.
Ah, yes, mi scuse. The English language is very difficile.
I must ask, why a barber shop? You do not strike me as a people person, Mr. Cooper.
Ah, Syndica. There's something about holding a razor near someone's neck that makes them tell you things they wouldn't even tell their mothers.
Yes, people do love to talk while getting a haircut.
Exactly. Makes it easy to extort a lot of information.
Extract, boss. Extract.
What exactly is the relationship between you two?
Us? Oh, nothing special. Just a man and his partner.
Nothing more, nothing less.
Oh, well, I only mentioned it because I had heard some rumors about you two.
Oh, have you now?
I have heard a few, actually, but the one that caught my attention was the one about you two being Satanists.
I beg your pardon, Syndica?
Apparently, loud screams, moans, and banging noises are heard from your home every night. The explanation people seem to have is that you are sacrificing animals to the devil.
You wouldn't have a name for the unsavory individuals who spread them, would you?
No, I cannot quite remember. Michael. It was Michael Walker, owner of Mike's Diner. You will find his home 3 streets down from your barbershop to the left.
Well then, Marco. I believe we have a lake trip ahead of us soon.
I do not wish to be rude, but your mansion does not exactly fit in with the rest of the houses.
It was not designed for this country, of course. We had a home shipped from Italy, brick by brick.
By Coolidge's cane, that must have been expensive.
Our good friend Ortega took it upon himself to make our time here as comfortable as possible.
Truly, we are blessed by his friendship.
Well, you are certainly fortunate, but I cannot help but cringe when I see it. The town planner would die if he saw how it clashed with the other homes.
He would not be the first to die because of that house.
Apologies, Syndica. He meant that the previous owners are no longer with us. Natural causes, of course.
If you are hiring, I have a potential employee you might be interested in.
Ah, yes. I have heard of these political appointments. So who is Latapa you wish to install?
My offspring.
Well, having the mayor's daughter on the payroll could be advantageous. But let me ask you this. What does she bring to the table?
Oh, she has marvelous problem-creating skills.
Don't you mean problem solving?
I wish I did.
Troublemakers have their uses, Sindaka. I'm sure we have something for her.
One last thing before we finalize this, though. Very important. What is your favorite Italian dish?
Tagliatelios.
No! Never! Not in a million years!
Perhaps your daughter is better suited for other work, Sindaka.
It was worth a try. We need to talk about your pet.
Sparkles? What's wrong with Lamia Gata?
Oh, she is a ray of sunshine on a cloudy day, Sindaka. She'd never hurt a fly. She'd never hurt a fly. Without reason.
If you officially register her as a guard cat by next month and put up a warning sign, I will let this slide.
We'll get it done as soon as possible.
I shall see you gentlemen another time.
Arrivederci.
Maxwell, come on. A minute of your time.
I can't. Why don't you drop by tomorrow for the opening party? I could use your support.
I shall see what I can do.
Oh, I almost forgot. Here, take one. First drink's on me!
That is a terrible policy.
Eliza, I know you are very eager to inaugurate the bar, but the opening is tomorrow.
And risk having someone else cut the tape before I do it? Again? Not happening.
You're late with the shipment again. That's the third time this month.
I'm honestly surprised I made it out of there.
Filthy nut smugglers. They're becoming smarter and more organized by the day.
What are your orders?
Take the secret route down to Ciudad Juarez. That should buy us some extra time.
Aye, aye, ma'am.
If you must force me to steal a work of art, let it be one of actual value, like a Monet or Van Gogh. If you must force me, let it be... If I could replace it so easily with one of myself, I would have done so already. I am contractually obligated to say the following. Twonkies are a part of a balanced breakfast. I eat them every day, and so should you. Are you really in the mood for jibber-jabber? Okay, but remember, I tried to warn you. Do you have a moment, Lorraine?
Sure do. What do you need?
So, my dear.
Nope.
You do not even know what I was going to say.
Sure I do. You were gonna ask me if Tucker and I were voting for you in the next election.
Well, that just proves how little you know about me, Lorraine. What I was actually going to say was... Why? Why would you say you would not vote for me? Have I not served the good people of my community well? My sacrifices, my struggles, all have been for the betterment of our great town, where eagles soar across the desert sky like winged messengers of freedom itself.
Wow, bravo, Eliza. What a stirring speech. It was very persuasive. Still a no for me, though. After what happened to my old store, I don't think you should be in charge.
So that is what this is all about. Lorraine, about what happened to your last store.
Eliza, I'm sorry to be so blunt, but get your head on straight. Your kid's a sweetheart, but she should never have access to a wrecking ball.
Come now, Lorraine. You know my offspring would never do anything to you. She adores you.
Oh, is that why she jumped out of the driver's seat and yelled, "Suck it, fruit lady! This is what you get for marking up your Twonkies!"
Amos has identified a cabal of international rodent agents, armed to their buck teeth as the culprits. Besides, I personally arranged for the reconstruction of your store. I assure you, our best engineer is working on it.
You mean Bucky? Eliza, he lays down 1 brick a day. At this rate, I'll be dead before I can reopen.
I understand, but Joseph is not the one to blame. Construction is a long and arduous process that can take decades to complete.
Oh, really? Because that swimming pool behind your house only took 3 days.
Well, you know, digging a hole is easier than building something. One thing puzzles me about that incident at your old store. How could a wrecking ball cause an explosion of that magnitude?
Explosion? Oh, Eliza, you're exaggerating.
Exaggerating? Dr. Dixon almost had a heart attack. She ran into the desert and refused to come back for a week. What in the name of Hamilton's Holy Quill did you have in that basement?
The basement? Nothing. Just some fireworks left over from last 4th of July. I was just saving them for the kids. You know, sparklers, snappers, little ones like that.
You are telling me that massive explosion was because of some sparklers?
Well, they were very high quality.
Going back to that unfortunate incident with your store.
Do you enjoy torturing me?
I think it is time to settle your complaint about the construction plans.
Sure. You can start by telling me your plans for the 3rd floor of my building. Nobody at Town Hall dared to tell me.
Relax, Lorraine. It is just a plan B in case my attempts to return the orphans to Corona fall through. I guarantee you, there is nothing to be worried about.
Oh, I know how your plans pan out, Eliza. Which means your plan C is dropping those kids in my lap.
Well, would that be such a bad thing, Lorraine? You must have wanted children at some point. You should give it a chance. Children are the most precious gift we can receive.
Look me in the eye and say that again, Eliza. Say it like you mean it.
I cannot.
You will not saddle me with several mouths to feed for the next 10 years just because it's convenient for you. Now give me back my Shark Tank.
Shark Tank? Why would you ever want a Shark Tank? What are you, some sort of spy movie villain?
At least shark pups swim away immediately after they are born.
How much did you lose in terms of produce? $50?
$50? More like 5 million acorns. Yes, a year's worth of acorns.
Look on the bright side.
The only bright thing in this mess was the white flash that took my store from me.
Oh, do not be so melodramatic, Lorraine. Town Hall paid for the building. You are in a better spot. And Amos is nearby should you need assistance.
Joy.
I usually let Amos handle this sort of thing.
Oh, no, dear. No need to bother the sheriff about this. Everything's just fine.
All right, Lorraine, I must be taking my leave.
Have a nice day, sweetheart. Eliza, wait. Don't you think there's something we should go over before you leave? It's that time of year, after all.
Christmas? Nonsense. That's still a few months away.
Don't play coy with me, Eliza. Now, let's take it from the top, shall we?
Well, isn't this a beautiful day?
It sure is, dear. But something's missing.
You're right. What I really need to feel complete as a person is something sweet and yummy.
Don't worry, I've got just the thing for you. Twonkies!
Twonkies? Wow! Sounds delicious.
Here, have a bite.
That's exactly what I've been missing all my life. I am Mayor Eliza Barrett, and I approve these Twonkies.
Now that wasn't so bad, was it, dear?
At least this cursed endorsement pays for all the offspring's messes. Nothing I can do for Christine right now. But worry not. She is always there when I need her. You may want to see me cavort in filth, but that is one thing you cannot make me do. If we are going to steal, we should try to at least take something of actual value.
Dear fools, I'm on my break at Mike's Diner. If you want something fixed, do it yourself at your own home. Or just wait for me. Whatever. Love, Linda. P.S. If I catch anyone fooling around in here, I'll wrench 'em good. Don't test me.
Amos's conspiracy theories before lunchtime? Let me first find a tinfoil hat. Amos's...
Heavens above! Look who deigned to grace us with her presence! If it isn't the worst mayor in history!
Oh, Michael. You're as funny as your food is edible.
I know, right? Hey, wait a minute! You want to say that again? I'm not scared to kick out the mayor.
You sure you want to try that, Michael? Considering how that worked out for you last time.
Damn you and your friggin' lawsuits, Eliza! How you managed to convince an entire jury that I hurt your foot with my butt is beyond me! Just don't stay here too long. You'll scare off my clientele. All right, Eliza. I see you eyeing the bar. How about a little relaxer?
I could never relax in this place. If I touch the wrong thing, it might melt my skin.
Oh, come on! You know that hasn't happened in weeks!
Michael, let me take a look at that bottle.
You'll have that whiskey back after you pry it from my cold, dead hands, Eliza!
Have it back? Michael, let me take a...
You'll have that...
Have it...
Miss Mayor, it's so good to see you.
Miss Jones, what is a young lady of your talents doing in this dump?
Hey, I heard that!
I could ask you the same thing.
Touché. I'm only here on campaign business.
You're welcome to join me for dinner if you like.
Thank you for the invitation. But I would like to avoid contracting ringworm tonight. Thank you.
Ladies! Ladies! I'm right frickin' here!
Well, then what can I do for you?
What is the current status of our casino project?
Operation Clean Eating is right on schedule.
Speaking of which, perhaps we could move up the demolition date.
As much as I'd love to, we need to wait. Rushing it could jeopardize the whole operation.
Wait, back up! What's getting demolished?
Oh, nothing much. Just a lowlife's pride and joy.
Well, glad to hear you aren't talking about my diner.
Yes, Michael, laugh away. Do not give it a second thought.
You know, he makes this way too easy to be any fun.
Why are you sitting here all by yourself?
I don't mind.
Now, what is wrong?
It's just... I find it hard to click with people my age around here.
Well, you are always welcome to spend time with my offspring, Betty.
Oh, I like Betty just fine, Miss Mayor. It's just that...
Yes?
It's just that she gets easily distracted by, well, everything. Especially anything reflective. Plus, I've only seen her carry a full conversation once, and it was with the class hamster.
Hey, I have full conversations with her.
Really? And how do you manage that?
Real easy. I've got this XXL sized hamster costume in the back. Whenever I need to have an important conversation with her, I put it on. It's pretty musky in there, but I can loan it to you if you want it.
You know, friends are kind of overrated, so I'll pass.
Perhaps you would be interested in speaking with Mr. Slim?
Oh, John? No, there's nothing between him and me. Why are you asking?
Stuttering? An affectionate name? Oh, I know what's going on here. You're in love.
You were in love? With who?
And why do you care, Slim?
Yeah, Slim, why do you care?
I was just, trying to show interest in my fellow citizens. Yes, that.
How about instead of trying to pry information from others, you all keep to your own damn conversations for once?
And Eliza Barrett comes in to kill everyone's fun. Ah, fine. Keep your silly little secrets to yourselves.
Thanks for the save.
Consider it a perk of our arrangement, Miss Jones. Have you considered befriending Miss Valentine?
Linda? No way! She's a maniac!
What did you just say about me, Slim?
What? I didn't say... Ow!
See?
You youngsters are too scared of the wrench. When I was young, we could take horseshoes to the head without so much as a blink. What you need is to partake in some extracurricular activities. Have you considered helping the community? There is a former athlete who needs help getting their life back on track.
You mean Garrick? I'll have to pass on that one. It's too dangerous. That little thing has a self-control problem when it catches onto the scent of...
Oh, so that's where the chicken wings were. Right under the year-old moldy custard.
Oh no. Mike, what are you doing? Get rid of them immediately before it's too...
What? Why should I? Oh, God!
Like hell, this is a game over. Get this thing out of the way now. Good. Now, let us return to what we were doing before.
Yeah. Sorry, I got a little carried away.
Perhaps you are too mature for people in your age group. What about my right-hand man, Joseph?
I appreciate the gesture, Miss Mayor, but I don't see what Bucky and I could have to talk about.
Then you underestimate him greatly. Did your Aunt Debbie ever tell you how your Uncle Flavio met his end?
No, she hasn't. She says it's too painful to remember.
Joseph might be able to give you the details then, as well as explain what you need to do should a Wendigo show up in the middle of the night.
Italian! You can never go wrong with that!
Sad to say, he is not wrong this time.
You know, I think I'll take your advice. If only to put this sudden bout of dread to rest.
Just give it time. You will make friends eventually. I know you will.
Thank you, Miss Mayor.
Tell me, how is your aunt doing lately? And more importantly, can I count on her vote in the coming election?
Please, Miss Mayor. My aunt may forget to use my current name at times, but she would never forget to support you after all you've done for us.
Current name? What? Are you one of those secret agents or something? Wait, are you?
If she told you about it, then she would have to kill you. Actually, go ahead, Miss Jones. Fill him in.
Let's just say that my dad's business puts him in contact with some strong characters. He thought I would have a safer upbringing here with my Aunt Debbie, under a fake name.
Boy, I can relate to that. I've had to go by a pseudonym many times for my own safety.
What are you on about, Michael? You may have many victims, but you are hardly significant enough to be anyone's enemy.
I just meant that I could relate to not being well-liked.
Yes, you can.
Anyway, I was supposed to go back to Chicago after graduating and take up the family business. But then Dad was arrested and everything got complicated.
I hope your father's trial goes well. Speaking of which, is there any way I can help speed up the process?
Don't worry. In Chicago, my father is king. There are many who will ensure his reign remains undisturbed.
Hey, Carrie, let me give you a little business advice. If you want to win a chess match, sometimes you gotta sacrifice the king.
That's the exact opposite of how chess works, Michael.
Don't worry. If we get that rat Martinelli out of the picture fast enough, he'll be at the casino's inauguration drinking margaritas by the VIP swimming pool. And believe me, he wants to meet you too. I think you'll get on like a house on fire.
I will look forward to it then. That will be all, Miss Jones.
If anything else pops up, you know where to find me.
If this is actually anything like ketchup, I will eat my hat.
Hey, no outside food!
Missing. Paul Bellotto. Last seen traveling east towards Florida for work with Rhino Co. The odds of me touching that are about the same as Michael's chances of cooking a half-decent dish. I am so glad they stopped the beer chest contests. Far too many people were getting injured.
What?
The odds of me touching that are about the same as Michael's chances of cooking a half-decent dish. I am so glad they stopped the beer chest contests. Far too many people were getting injured. Is this a list of dishes or a confession of crimes against humanity?
Shut it!
Manners, Michael. It would save you a casino's worth of trouble. Is this a list of dishes or a confession of crimes against humanity?
Shut it!
Manners, Michael. It would save you a casino's worth of trouble. Is this a list?
Shut it!
Manner. Michael.
Eliza?
Michael, can you tell me why my offspring is not here working?
Shouldn't you be asking her that? You know, maybe act like a parent for a change?
What would you know about parenting, you big oaf? The only thing you have ever given birth to is a new strain of flesh-eating bacteria.
Don't strangle the mayor, Mike. It's bad for business.
Anyway, do you realize that if I cannot find her, her mischief will continue unimpeded?
I don't see how that's my problem.
Damn it, Michael. Must I remind you of the sunburned iguana incident?
Oh! Yeah, mistakes were made. But in her defense, who would have guessed iguanas exploded like that when exposed to radiation?
Anyone with a spark of common sense. You should know better by now, Michael. Somehow everything she touches eventually explodes.
Made for an awesome dish, though. My point, I have no idea where Betty is.
It does not matter. She will have to return home at some point. How is it possible that the last 3 mayors tried to close this place down, yet all have failed?
Silly Eliza. This diner has been here longer than the town itself. My ancestor, Miguel Caminante, founded La Taberna de Miguel over 500 years ago on this very spot. And ever since then, there's been a Barrett trying to take it down, and failing.
I will find a way to destroy it, Michael. And you know I always get my way.
And I say, bring it on!
There must be a way. Mark my words. I will find it.
Not today, Barrett! You can flatten the diner, but my family owns this land. And there's nothing you could do to take it away from us. Heritable property rights, you old boot!
How do you even know what half those words mean?
These magic words were written in my dad's recipe book, scribbled under the spicy rat loaf recipe. I've remembered them my whole life, in case a Barrett came to take my land.
Really? Really? I shall tell you everything you need to know about this stink-filled culinary dungeon. It is a diner, and it exists, although hopefully not for much longer. Ugh. Michael, I've read a few files containing records about this establishment. And let me just say, every single word was a nightmare. Poe would be jealous.
Hey, thanks!
That was not a compliment. Regardless, I find myself with some outstanding questions.
Do your worst! I got nothing to hide from you! Well, nothing besides what I'm already hiding from you!
How did your family come to open a restaurant here?
My ancestor Miguel was sentenced to death by Hernan Cortez!
Why would someone like Cortez bother with a walker?
Well, Miguel was in charge of feeding the crew, but after misplacing some ingredients, they accused him of witchcraft and attempted murder. He managed to escape with his pockets full of Aztec gold, which he used to build his tavern. He had one dream, to become the greatest chef in the world.
My condolences. Was that Aztec gold cursed?
Huh? Never would have expected you to believe in that kind of thing.
I have some experience with curses.
Is that why you're such a terrible mayor?
I just told you I have experience with curses. Are you sure you want to speak to me like that? So, this place was financed by stolen gold and built on top of a cursed graveyard.
Your point being?
My point being, this dump is double cursed. Which actually explains a lot, if you think about it.
But, Eliza, two negatives make a positive. So my diner's not double cursed, it's super blessed! That's just basic math.
You are gravely underestimating the forces you are dealing with here, Michael.
Your crazy mumbo-jumbo doesn't scare me, Eliza. This place is as clean as it can be. Of curses, at least.
Who will inherit the Walker legacy after you are finally after you? You have no wife, no children, no one who loves you at all.
What's there to think about? The answer's pretty obvious. Betty, of course! She's perfect! She loves the job, she already knows half of my secret recipes.
Michael, would you excuse me for a moment? Pardon me, where were we? Ah, yes. Where do you get your ingredients from? I do not think anyone has ever seen you at the market. Or any store, actually.
If you think I'm gonna tell you where I get my stuff so you can cut off my supply line, think again!
And here I thought your main source was the roadkill lying in front of your diner.
Joke's on you! It's not just the roadkill! I get most of my stuff from the dumpsters around town! God damn it!
You know what? I have heard enough from you on this topic.
I was just thinking the same thing!
I think it's time we discuss the repercussions of your diner.
Repercussions? Bah! People love my diner! Hell, I even got a wing at the hospital named after me!
You should not be proud of that.
Oh no! Then Then why do they send me a gift basket every Christmas?
Because your food keeps flooding the place with victims. In fact, you are the only reason we have a hospital in the first place.
Oh, so you're saying my diner creates jobs? Wasn't that one of your campaign promises last time? You're welcome.
Well, Michael, the elections are closing in. Will you vote for me this time?
Nope, don't think so. Not likely. Not happening.
Very well, Michael.
Absolutely not. Not in a million years. No way, Jose.
I get it. Are you...
When pigs fly, when hell freezes over, and, last but not least, over my dead body.
You know, I can arrange that last one.
Let's see if you're still this cocky when you get destroyed in the election.
You will eat those words.
I've eaten worse.
I have wasted enough time on you.
Feelings mutual. Now get the hell out of my face.
As tempted as I am to erase that stain on my reputation, I will not be the one to crush her sense of self-worth. I will leave that to the demolition team. Do you have any idea what kind of diseases have been left festering in that kitchen?
Well, that's an idea. Diseased meatloaf. Thanks, Eliza.
Dear Washington, what have I wrought?
Oh, Miss Mayor. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Slim. I must ask, why are you spending this wonderful summer day at Michael's?
Oh, I'd rather be anywhere else but this stinky old... I mean, there's no better place to be than this delightful place. So, what can we do for you?
So, Mr. Slim, who are you going to vote for in this upcoming election?
You seem like a solid choice, I guess.
Just like that? No questions? No wild requests?
I try not to overthink politics, and I'm sure you'll do a good job, right?
Of course. Easiest vote of my life. Now that you have graduated from high school, what are your plans?
My dream is to move to Indiana and win the Indy 500. Just like George Robson.
Yep, we're leaving this crummy town and never looking back. But not until Betty graduates. We won't leave without her.
What? Until Betty graduates? But baby, that'll take forever. Maybe the rest of our lives. To go back to your question, Miss Mayor, I'll be working in Linda's garage at first. For a while. Until Betty graduates.
So, Mr. Slim, what do you think of that young lady over there?
Oh, you mean Carrie Ann? She's super nice and really smart. Pretty, too, with a...
Eyes forward, Johnny!
But babe, I didn't move a muscle.
Good, then keep it that way.
Where might I find my offspring?
Offspring? Oh, yeah, Betty. She's probably out in... Betty? What's a Betty?
Thank you for the chat. I had best go about my business.
See you around, Miss Mayor.
Hello.
What do you want now?
Now, Linda, dear, why do I need a reason to chat with my offspring's friend?
That's a good question, Miss Barrett. Let me ask you one right back. Did you know you only call me Linda when you want something?
Miss Valentine, it has been brought to my attention that you still haven't signed your new rental agreement.
Wow. I never thought I'd see the day that power-mad Eliza Barrett would be working as someone's lackey.
Eliza Barrett is no one's lackey, but that is beside the point. What matters is that you must sign.
Oh, I must I? What the hell for?
You know how my offspring just loves getting you in trouble?
Yeah. Your point being?
Well, are you also aware that she can forge your signature?
Yeah, I know about that. So what?
Imagine what could happen if I left this rental agreement lying around the house, and suddenly it was signed by a Miss Linda Valentine.
She'd never do something like that.
Are you sure? I can be quite persuasive, especially where my offspring is concerned.
Who do you think you're fooling, fool? We both know Betty wouldn't betray me like that. Especially not for you.
If you say so. I suppose we will find out who is correct soon enough. I'm afraid that door is now closed. I suggest we find a different approach. Your partner fails to see the benefits of signing this rental agreement. Perhaps you could help me convince her otherwise.
Sure, but let me check it over first. You can never be too careful with these. Okay, let's see. Okay, pretty standard. Wait, agreeing to forfeits her own rights of... Who the hell wrote this? Babe, you shouldn't be signing this. You shouldn't be signing this at all.
What are you talking about, fool?
Mr. Slim is just trying to prevent you from signing this awful contract, and I fully agree with him.
Wait a minute. Since when do you two agree on anything? Something shady's going on here. Give me that, Slim!
Linda, no!
Well, all's well that ends well. For me, that is.
Can't decide if I'm gonna get the possum parmesan or the iguana au rochefort.
What difference does it make? They taste exactly the same.
If this is actually anything like ketchup, I will eat my hat.
Hey, no outside food!
And 1, and 2. One thing's for sure, my glutes are getting a workout. I'll get my broomstick, see if you're so rebellious then. Come on, just stick already. We cannot use the book for this. Would not want a repeat of the broom incident. But when she needs help, she just reaches for it and boom, problem solved. And done. It's perfect. And there's no way she's gonna complain about this one.
How is it going, Joseph?
Oh, hey there, Eliza. Well, my bad hand's a little stiff today, but other than that, I'm peachy.
Election day is nigh, Joseph. Do you have everything under control? We do not want to repeat last year's incident when the dead had risen and voted for the opposition.
I flipped the coffins upside down this year. Trust me, by the time they realize something's wrong, they will be halfway to Australia.
Excellent.
Oh yeah, there's one more thing. Remember the restaurant that shall not be named?
No one in their right mind would call it a restaurant, but yes, I am familiar. Sadly. What about it?
Mike has promised 1 free hamburger to anyone who votes against you.
My God, Joseph, do you know what this means?
Congratulations on your re-election, Miss Mayor.
What will you do after you retire? I cannot imagine you sitting idle in a rocking chair.
Actually, I was thinking about introducing myself to the new mayor of Corona.
Joseph!
So that I can sabotage them from inside.
Your dedication is admirable. Your propensity towards crime is not. That said, I do appreciate the sentiment. Always a pleasure talking with you, Joseph.
Eliza, before you go.
Joseph, I swear, if this is about your armpit abscess again...
No. I was, thinking back on my life, reflecting on a few things.
Well, I do enjoy reminiscing with you.
Maybe we could start from the beginning. You know, when we first met. That is, if you're not in a hurry.
Certainly. If it is for my favorite intern, I do have a few minutes to spare.
You know, this must be the longest internship in human history.
The longest unpaid internship, perhaps.
What was that?
Do not change the subject, or we might forget what happened the day we met.
How could I possibly forget? That was the first and only shot I ever missed.
You always did have an ugly habit of shooting first and asking questions later.
And in my defense, when a strange woman pops out of your floor in a cloud of smoke, you tend to react with surprise. And I still don't know how you dodged that bullet. Or was it the bullet that dodged you, huh? Come to think of it, I can't believe that after all these years, I still don't know why you even showed up in my cabin that day.
That is true. I never told you. Well, I suppose it is past time I told you the story. Consider this your retirement gift.
Wait a sec, I don't want...
It all began long ago on a remote Hawaiian island. Max and I were on top of a volcano when we met Father Jenkins. He was blindfolded, gagged, and trussed up like a Christmas goose. Apparently, the old fellow had made some inappropriate advances towards the chieftain's daughter. Naturally, the chief thought this made him the perfect candidate for a human sacrifice. Luckily for Jenkins, I had taken a course in public speaking and drama that summer. Between my booming voice and a few fortuitous rumbles from the volcano, I convinced them I was an incarnation of one of their gods.
And they bought that?
It was a long shot. Even I have to admit that. But as I was speaking, something strange happened. The lava slowly rose from the volcano, as if by magic, and flowed around me, bathing me in its fiery glow. But I felt no heat, no burning. I wore the lava like a cape as I delivered my speech.
When are we gonna get to the part about my cabin?
Do not rush me. I am getting there. While the crowd was distracted, Max untied Jenkins. Everything was going smoothly until Jenkins ruined it. Oh, so you heathens won't believe a word I say. But this witch sets off some fireworks and you're all over her? Well, I hope you enjoy swallowing that tripe, because it's the only thing you're gonna eat tonight. After that, the mesmerizing effects of my speech vanished, and we had no choice but to run. During our escape, I heard a strange little voice. I thought it was that fool priest praying, but then I saw the book. It was shining like the sun. As I slowly approached, it seemed to call to me. I've never felt so complete, so satisfied. I knew that such a powerful artifact could not fall into the wrong hands, so I took it. After that, Max, Father Jenkins, and I made our way through the jungle, down to the docks without seeing another soul. Once I was back on the mainland, I found the perfect hiding place for the book. The deepest, darkest cavern anyone could ever find. Unfortunately, my plan was not as solid as I had thought, as the bear living in that cave soon showed me.
Uh-oh.
The beast was upon me in mere seconds. I could feel his hot breath on my face and his paws on the book. All I could do was scream, "Don't touch!" And then we were suddenly enveloped in a flash of light.
Wait, you don't mean...
I do indeed. That was the day I met our town's greatest hero. I could never convince him that Don't Touch was an odd name. Apparently, he just really liked it.
You're telling me that you're the reason Don't Touch was so special?
I assume so. I asked Don't Touch to help me protect the town by hiding the book in his cave, and he agreed. We started digging, but I suppose he had loosened too many rocks already, because we suddenly collapsed into your cellar. I opened the hatch, thinking the place was abandoned, and that is where we met.
Hey, since you still have the book, would you mind lending it to me? Just for a couple hours.
Absolutely not. Do I need to remind you what happened last time?
Well.
Do you not have any more tasks today?
I don't know. Do you?
Enough about me. Let us talk about your past. Start by telling me why you were in an abandoned cabin in the middle of the woods.
Well, that ain't much of a mystery. It was my grandparents' cabin. Well, after losing my hand in a terrible accident, I just couldn't keep working the family business. I fell into a deep depression that drove me to abandon my family and go back to the cabin where I grew up.
You do realize that now I have a plethora of new questions.
Such as?
You mentioned your family business. What was it exactly?
Oh, general maintenance. Fixing leaky pipes, touching up peel paint, that kind of stuff.
Well, I suppose you have carried on that tradition, in a way.
Yeah, not much difference. I do miss the pest control gig I had on the side, though. I faced off against the worst creatures Hell's Maw could spit out, and I beat 'em all. Those were the days. Now all I fight are dirty floors.
Oh, stop complaining. A well-executed fine can be just as satisfying as capital punishment.
Okay, so maybe it's not so bad.
About your accident, the one where you lost your hand.
Just thinking about that day makes my stump ache.
If you do not want to talk about it, I understand.
Many years ago, I was called in to clean up a plague that was terrorizing a whole town. In hindsight, going in alone was a huge mistake. At one point, I needed new tools, and it was then that evil incarnate showed up.
A door-to-door salesperson?
The worst one you'll ever meet. A smile like a shark, cheap cologne, and an even cheaper suit. I don't know how he managed it, but he convinced me to buy something.
Damn! What could he have tempted you with?
This right here is the solution to all your problems, past, present, and future. A 1.5-yard single-shaft Remington. L. Hardy's top of the line. You can find this in the cleaning goods department. That's right, this sweet baby was made in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Retails for about $9.99. It's got a cherry wood handle, a cobalt blue steel cap, and a demon hair brush. That's right, don't shop easy, shop L. Hardy. He then insisted on a demonstration that ended with my hand being blown to smithereens. And that wasn't even the worst part.
What could be worse than losing your hand?
Let's just say the plague I was there for might have been a half-cocked salesman shilling crappy products. Yeah, that mess cost me my hand, my reputation, and my exterminating license.
What was that about a family?
What are you?
Joseph?
Oh, crap. I have a wife and daughter. I was so relieved to get this job, I completely forgot about them.
Come now, Joseph. I do not keep you that busy. You must have taken a day off at some point.
What's a day off?
I stand corrected. What exactly happened in that cabin before I arrived? I ask you because I distinctly remember several red splotches on the floor. Also, I am certain one of the walls had a mouth, or what was left of one.
Yeah, turns out that some real nasties had been squatting in the old place after I left. Had to take care of them, you know.
And did you mistake me for one of those nasties of yours?
You came out of my cellar in a cloud of dust and smoke. What was I supposed to think?
I want to reminisce about the times you used the Necronomicon.
Ah, come on, it was never that exciting.
Monday, the 5th of January, 1920. I had a sore throat, which you decided to help me recover from by using a spell.
Can't blame me for thinking about your well-being.
That spell had me speaking Sumerian for a week.
Well, on the bright side, the press loved the unbridled fervor of the new candidate's first speech.
And do you remember what happened to make it so memorable?
No, not at all.
You did the only thing I asked you specifically not to do with that book. Do you remember what that was?
You said not to use it to raise the dead.
And what did you do?
Raise the dead.
Exactly. Necromancy is rarely the answer, Joseph. Wednesday, the 24th of December, 1924. I was invited to a Christmas party in Los Angeles. You used the book to try to get us there faster. Instead, we ended up spending that time somewhere entirely different.
Well, not that different, to be honest. And it wasn't that bad. Exotic sights, warm weather. Granted, the smell of sulfur and all the screaming weren't ideal. Besides, you got no right to complain about that trip. Not after you got into that little entanglement.
Whatever went on between Lucy and I is none of your business. But I will admit, it was a very amusing month.
So, why are you belly aching about it now?
Because he does not know when to quit. Every birthday, my house is filled with black roses and the stink of brimstone. And he's constantly peppering me with letters about how I banished him to the friend circle.
And don't forget about those weird tools.
Weird tools? Do you mean the torture equipment?
Oh, so that's what those are. Wait, and why do you keep some in the room where you have your meetings with Lincoln?
Joseph!
Shut it up now.
Saturday, the 19th of March, 1927. You summoned 100 demonic freaky apes from outside all known reality, and they trashed my office.
They were teenage mutant extra-dimensional monkeys. Fine, but I'm not apologizing. We needed someone to write your autobiography, and they did it for free. Hell, the damn thing was finished before the day was over.
Yes, I suppose we did get some use out of them.
Never underestimate the power of 100 monkeys once they get their hands on a typewriter.
I thought it was commendable of them to correct your spelling. Disappointing and embarrassing for you, of course, but still impressive.
I wonder what happened to them.
Judging from Michael's free monkey bread with every purchase sign the next day, I think I know. Thursday, the 13th of August, 1942. I think you know where I am going with this.
Hey, you wanted votes, you got votes. Twice as many votes as even you expected.
You almost cost me that election, Joseph.
Come on, it was a solid plan. I mean, it was a solid plan until...
Until one of the volunteers noticed how many times Joseph Buckingham went in and out of the polling booth. I had to give her part of Betty's college fund to keep her quiet.
Nah, you were saving that money for no reason, and you know it. I get why you were mad, but I suffered a hell of a lot more than you did. Do you know how much it hurts to have 100 clones split off from you?
I had to clean up your mess, and that is not how this relationship works.
You had to clean up? Eliza, I had to kill and execute 100 Buckies. I'm not even sure I'm the original. Sometimes it keeps me up at night.
Sunday, the 9th of February, 1936. You kept insisting you had found the perfect spell to curse Michael's diner. And it still stands. The other failures I can forgive, but this one? My biggest disappointment yet.
I don't understand. I swear the spell was correct that time. The only way it wouldn't have worked... Wait, is there any chance the diner was already cursed? Wait, no. If it was already cursed, and then I cursed it again, it should have been double cursed. Oh, or do they cancel each other out? Or maybe what I actually did was bless the place. You see, because if you think about it, I kind of took two negatives and,
Spare me your attempts at logic, Joseph. I do not have all week. That is enough personal history for one day. But if you do require tales of your past failures, I have plenty to share.
Yeah, I'll let you know when I want that. Need anything else?
I have other matters to attend to.
When the cat's away...
Do not even think about it. No thanks. I like my backside as it is. Bullet-free. If you change something in the past, it can also change the future. That is called a temporal paradox. My offspring will not be able to use the Necronomicon if you pick that up now. Creating a paradox that will probably kill everyone in town and definitely screw up the ending. Understood? Excellent. Weird. Usually Benjamin comes down faster than lightning when you manipulate this thing. That is a shaky decision at best, and a potentially life-threatening choice at worst. I already got close enough when I cut the ribbon, and I plan to keep it that way. I would rather swim naked in a pool of rusty razors than pay Corona a visit. Am I clear? Sam is not here. Oh, right. This morning he was attending that towel origami masterclass, from drab to fab. Walking through a wall? Are you confusing me with Houdini, perhaps? I am not the sort of person to window shop, least of all for some silly Halloween costumes. Thank you, but I already have enough tape for anything I might need to record. Touch it, and they will be calling you Lefty. Gentlemen, I have held up my end of the deal. I trust you know what to do when the time comes.
Look, Mako, she succeeded where you failed. Maybe you could learn something from her.
I would have gotten it done too, if you let me do it my way. Still, thank you, Ms. Barrett.
Indeed. May this be a mutually beneficial partnership. I think you will find that all of Rhinoco supports your re-election, Syndica. Before you go, Syndica, there's something we wish to discuss about Delgado Mine.
We would like to resume mining operations as soon as possible.
You are aware that the mine went bust years ago, right? Unless you found something in that mine? Something very old, prehistoric, you might say.
Let us keep this information between the three of us, Syndica. We have already found a buyer for the fossily.
My lips are sealed, Mr. Cooper. In fact, I would be more than happy to expedite any legal paperwork for you. Provided I win the election, of course. On that note, I must return to my campaign duties. Please excuse me.
Truly, that is a woman worthy of respect. Perhaps we could assist her. Mako, I need a list of people in town who have recently passed on. It's time they perform their civic duty.
I'll dig up everything I can tonight and have a list on your desk tomorrow morning, boss.
It seems that was everything on the agenda for today, and with time to spare. Ah, that felt good. What is next on the docket? Petition to open Mayor Barrett's private swimming pool to all residents. Who would ever have the gall to sign their name to such a... Oh, everyone in town signed it. Everyone except me, that is. Rejected. Proposal. Expand Mike's Diner to chain. 3 new locations by next year. Petition from the Vatican. Eliza Barrett is engaging in immoral behavior in front of her dependent child. The church frowns on displays of affection such as smooching, gross pet names, and having your weird boyfriend stay over. We insist Eliza Barrett join a nunnery immediately to save her soul from eternal damnation. Oh, offspring. Well, that is odd. By Lafayette's forgotten legacy. In my enthusiasm, I seem to have worn my stamp flat. Well, I suppose I shall have to reject this last cockamamie proposal later. Oh, I had nearly forgotten to talk to Mr. Huckleberry about the musician's vote. Let us see where he is playing tonight.
Maybe if I put it in terms of a presidential race. Eliza Barrett, will you be my running mate until the end of time? Lincoln, you are about as romantic as a dirty shoelace. Maybe I'm overthinking this.
Overthinking what, exactly?
Eliza, what are you doing here?
I live here, remember? Are you feeling all right?
No, I mean, yes. I gotta see this through.
See what through?
Eliza Barrett, will you please be my co-pilot for as long as we...
Lincoln, we have been over this. I am not changing careers.
Not what I meant. I want to walk you down the...
Lincoln, it is far too late for walks, and I am tired.
Okay, fine. I get it. Look, I literally got a jet. Lapidus made the mistake of eating lunch at Mike's. Again. So, now we're down a pilot.
Wait, I thought you were staying the night.
Don't worry, I'll be back in the morning before you even wake up.
I really do not like the idea of you flying at night.
Relax, honey. It's a routine flight. Done it 1,000,000 times. What could possibly go wrong?
Have a safe trip, okay?
I will. I promise.
Eliza Barrett. You say corruption like it's a bad thing. There is no rest for the wicked. I still have things to do before going home. That is a one-way ticket to the hospital.
Well, if it isn't Mayor Barrett, you must be happy now, aren't you?
I am, but I do not understand your little comment.
Amos took my baby girl.
I was not aware you were a parent. Congratulations on the blessed event.
What? No! My guitar, my precious Gibson Electric Blue. And don't act innocent. This has your claw marks all over it.
I had nothing to do with that. Perhaps if you emitted fewer misophonic screeches.
First, you close KGFL. Now, the sheriff illegally seizes my property, making it impossible for me to work.
Yes, Mr. Huckleberry, but look at the bright side. You have so much time now to find a quieter, more productive hobby.
I'll never give up on my dreams. I'm gonna revolutionize music one day. You'll see. You'll all see.
Mm-hmm. Well, while we are waiting for this musical revolution, may I have a word? I can count on your vote, right?
Well, I would.
Why do I feel like there is a but coming?
But you've broken a lot of campaign promises.
Mr. Huckleberry, I can assure you there is absolutely no connection between the promises I have made and their alleged failure to uphold themselves.
Do you even feel bad at all for the people who lost their jobs after you shut down KGFL?
Ultimately, the failure of the KGFL was a direct result of poor administration. Town Hall cannot be faulted for allocating its budget to higher priority projects.
Yeah, tell that to my buddies Walter and Frankie. They had to seek work in Corona, Miss Mayor. Corona!
Oh dear, those poor, poor people. May Washington himself have mercy upon their souls.
So, in good conscience, I can't vote for you. Hope you understand. Well, unless...
Unless what?
Unless you help me record my first album. If you do that, you'll get my vote. Deal?
I have no choice but to accept. How exactly are we going to record your album?
We just need to follow my 4 steps to Rockin' Glory Guide.
Oh, please do enlighten me.
It's easy. First, we need to get my guitar back. Second, we need to find some kind of recording device.
This seems reasonable so far.
Okay, the third step is to get a tape to put in the recording device, so don't forget that. The final and most important step is to mail that baby to my record company.
This seems straightforward enough. I may require further details later on, however. Without your guitar, you have no reason to be hanging around here anymore. Go home, or get a job or something.
I'm on a hunger strike. I'm not moving until I get my baby back.
Well, congratulations on your new lifestyle. Regardless, if you are still here by 6 a.m., you will receive a parking violation.
I don't give a damn. I'm not moving until justice is served.
We'll see about that when Miss Valentine brings her tow truck. Why do you not simply—
Monster, demon, devil! How dare you suggest I abandon my baby? What would you do if someone took the most important thing in your life away, huh?
Oh, please. No one could ever take my career from me.
That's not what I meant. Jeez, poor Betty.
Why is that instrument so special to you?
Since the day my pal Harry Russ brought her to me, she's been my baby girl.
But it is just a guitar.
Just a guitar? No! She means everything to me. She's my world, my life, my soul.
Do you not think it is time to live a more conventional life? A real job, a house, maybe even a partner and child?
Oh yeah? And how did that turn out for you?
Touché, Mr. Huckleberry, touché. I will be on my way now.
Hey, Miss Mayor, one question. Why do you hate music so much?
My auditory nerves are 2 sizes too small, making it impossible for me to enjoy music.
That's it! You're like the Grinch of music. If you can't enjoy it, you'll make it so no one else can. But has it always been this way?
No. I contracted this condition right after my offspring's birth.
Booyah! Damn right! I'm a natural-born prankster! I've been messing with Mom since my very first breath.
That reminds me. I still have not punished you for that, have I?
You can't ground me if you can't find me!
Eliza, what a pleasant surprise.
Good day, Amos. Do you have any crimes to report? I do not want any surprises this close to the election.
Nothing out of the ordinary. Ben lost his pet rock, and Mrs. Roberts' cat got stuck in a tree. Again.
Is that really everything?
Yep, that's pretty much it.
Then would you care to explain what that is on the wall behind you?
This? It's nothing. Just a collage I've been working on.
A collage of wasted time, maybe. You are working on one of those hard-to-explain cases. Admit it.
Those crafty chipmunks have been quiet for a while, which means they're up to something.
Oh no, not the chipmunks. Anyway, on to more meaningful topics. I can count on you, right?
Of course you can. Wait, for what exactly?
You will vote for me, correct?
Oh, that. I don't know, Eliza. I feel like it might be time for a change around here. It might be good for the town if someone younger and a little more in touch took over.
How interesting you say that, Amos. I was just thinking it might be time our chief of police was a bit younger and faster and...
You know what? Change is overrated. Who needs change anyway?
Glad you came to that conclusion on your own. How has life been treating you lately, Amos?
I guess everything's okay, I guess.
You said, I guess, twice.
Well, the situation lately has been less than ideal. You know, since...
Since Gloria left you, yes. Look, I did not plan on broaching the subject, but... I think you are focusing on the chipmunks to avoid thinking about your real problems.
Oh, wow. You're almost as observant as my big-shot brother-in-law with his fancy FBI job. Solving real cases.
I seem to have hit a nerve. Well, if you ever would like to talk about it.
Thanks, Eliza. Sorry for getting so heated there. It's good to know I have your shoulder to cry on.
Speaking of your ex-wife, I did not know Gloria's brother was in the FBI.
Oh, you never heard of Jackson Ortega? The best of the very best the FBI has to offer. Most closed cases in the history of the FBI, living legend Casanova. Has his own column in the food section of the Washington Lamppost.
He sounds like a fine man. I hope you are not considering joining him in the FBI.
Of course not! Damn it, Eliza! You know I can't turn my back on Sheriff Garrett's legacy! I can never leave this town. It needs me.
Amos, as much as I value your dedication to this town, do not get too full of yourself. We can handle a few rodents and the occasional cat stuck in a tree on our own. Maybe it is time for you to get over your breakup and move on. It has been months, and it does not seem Gloria is coming back.
Get over it? Ha! I know she'll come back. She'll realize her mistake and come running straight back into my arms.
Of course she will, Amos. Just be patient. Very patient.
Thank you, Eliza.
Since you asked, let me give you some relationship advice.
I didn't ask.
Irrelevant. If you face the situation with the right attitude, you can get over any relationship in minutes. Do you remember that thing Betty did to you when she was a toddler?
Ugh. How could I forget? I thought I'd never walk again.
Well, perhaps she is to blame for your shortcomings.
What? No. Besides, if she hadn't done that, I never even would have met Gloria. If she hadn't have sent me to the hospital, and Gloria hadn't have been working there...
Exactly. Let that sink in for a moment, Amos.
That little spawn of a... of a mayor? Yeah, that.
Care to explain how you are blowing the budget this month?
I don't know what you mean.
No? Then let me ask you in a slightly different way. How many hours of taxpayer-funded work went into constructing this ludicrous monstrosity?
Okay, I'll explain, but get comfy. This is gonna take a while.
Then you had better start immediately.
So, this all began with some abandoned packages in the mail. They were addressed to a Mr. McFurry.
McFurry? There is no one in town by that name.
Exactly. McCord noticed these packages had been lying around unclaimed for a while, so he opened one. Know what he found? Nuts. Regular old shelled nuts, he thought. So he ate a few.
I believe that is considered tampering with the mail, officer.
Tampered is right. McCord barely ate 3 of them before he ended up in the hospital. Turns out those innocent-looking nuts were coated in hard drugs.
Oh, that is preposterous. They probably just went bad after sitting around for so long.
Yeah, they went so bad that my deputy thought he was a glass of orange juice for 12 hours. He kept crying, thought someone would try to drink him. Anyway, I contacted my inside guy at the Postal Service. Turns out every one of those packages was sent from the abandoned factory. One night, my postal worker friend calls me. He sounds distressed, wants to meet in person, and won't tell me why. I get to the meeting spot on time, but my contact is already dead. Nothing left but a smear of blood. What I did find was Hamster J. Garrick, right by the bloody patch. I tried to question him, but I can't speak hamster, so I called in my animal communications expert.
Oh, come on. Seriously.
Well, she understood a hell of a lot more than I could. According to her, that rodent had an airtight alibi, so I had to let him go. When I went back to the scene to investigate, I stumbled across a hidden envelope. You won't believe what I found inside. A letter!
Well, what were you expecting? 20 years worth of retroactive Christmas bonus checks?
I wish, but no. Like I said, it was a note. It was only 3 words long. Follow the nuts. The nuts, Eliza! The nuts! That kind doesn't grow in North America, so I went to ask at customs. Well, that's when I saw it. The huge wooden box. It looked sealed, but it opened easily. There was room for an entire person to fit inside. And then I found it. The first piece of evidence in this entire case. A can of Chef Mikhail's frikadelki.
Wait, you're telling me Michael had something to do with this?
Well, yes and no. After some investigation, it became apparent that Mikhail Kodak is Mike's third cousin from the USSR.
But Hamilton's thrown away shot. How big is Michael's family?
That doesn't matter. The important thing is, those chipmunks somehow smuggled a Soviet spy into our country.
Amos, this sounds like absolute hogwash. And even if that is true, it still does not explain your little project here.
What about it?
How does Mao even fit into all of this?
Well, nothing yet, but I figure if the Russians are involved, the Chinese can't be too far behind. I'm just getting a jump on the inevitable reveal.
What does the Black Dahlia have to do with any of this?
After she was murdered, her favorite pet went missing. Her favorite pet chipmunk. They never found her killer, and they've never found her chipmunk. Coincidence? I think not.
I see something named CIA there. What is that?
Oh, that's a new intelligence agency opening in DC next year. I'm not sure exactly why, but it must have something to do with the Chipmunk Menace.
Yes, I am certain the government opened a top-secret organization just so they could investigate your rodent delusions. Why does it mention earthquakes?
The last seismic event in this county happened at the exact same time a store in Corona was broken into. The thieves made off with a year's supply of nuts. Clearly, they somehow caused the earthquake to cover up their crime.
Of all the silly things you have said today, this is by far the silliest. Can we just skip to the end?
After I opened the box, things went quiet. Until last week, that is. Those furry bastards know I'm on to them. They're trying to throw me off the trail, but I'm smarter than that. What do you see right behind me?
A huge waste of taxpayers' money and my time?
Look at that ugly bastard on the right. To the untrained eye, it looks like an ordinary chipmunk, but it's not. That's Euonymus sibiricus, which is definitely not a North American species. Look at its facial markings, its thick pelt. This is clearly a rare Siberian chipmunk. And you know who he was? Mick Furry! Or should I say, Miss Chibaroskovich? And what do you think our comrade here was doing? Looking at the bank suspiciously! Just watch, one of these days the bank is gonna get robbed blind. And it'll be because of those double-damn chipmunks!
Amos, I do not know if you are insane or merely a comedic genius. Either way, abandon this cockamamie Soviet chipmunk theory immediately and go do your job.
Yeah, just you wait. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but it'll happen.
If there's no evidence, then you have no case, Amos. Stop draining the police budget in pursuit of your imaginary enemies.
I'll stop when their furry butts are behind bars. You're gonna feel real silly when I'm proven right, Eliza.
I am not too concerned about that happening. Give me one good reason not to reduce your budget next fiscal year.
One reason? Heck, I'll give you 3. The Chupavacas, the avian espionage, and the Sasquatch.
What on earth is avian espionage? What, are all the birds in town secretly operatives for a shadow government or something?
Of course not! That's crazy! Not all of them, just the pigeons.
Oh, I suppose that... Wait, what?
Haven't you noticed anything weird about them? When you walk out of your house, what do you see? A pigeon. When you walk out of your office, when you park your car, yes, it's a pigeon! They're always there!
Amos, I understand that they made a mess on your new car. But for the love of Ulysses S. Grant's speeding ticket, get over it already. come on, Amos. We talked about this. No more Sasquatch.
There's about to be a huge breakthrough in the entire Bigfoot community is waiting for the news with bated breath.
Are you sure it was not just some...
No way. They found footprints that definitely belong to a teenage Bigfoot. Right here by Crystalline Lake.
So, Bigfoot footprints, but smaller.
Exactly. Isn't that exciting?
Amos, you gullible fool. Those were just regular human footprints.
Classic Bigfoot denial tactic. I won't fall for your government cover-up.
Do you still believe the Chupavacas is real?
Still believe? Still believe? You saw it with your own eyes.
Whatever you think we saw, it was an illusion. Our eyes deceived us. It was dark.
Oh, so now you're going to act like you didn't see Betty ride that thing into the woods?
I think I would remember watching my offspring ride a giant wolf into the woods, Amos.
Oh, I see what's going on here. But you won't be able to cover up Betty's tracks forever. You know damn well what really happened.
I am sure that I do not know anything of the sort.
The worst part is that that thing's still out there.
Ah, never mind. I need you to release a piece of evidence. Hank Huckleberry's guitar.
Sure, let me just gift wrap that for you.
Well, that was easy.
It was a joke, Eliza, a joke. And no, you can't have it. It's been confiscated for a reason.
Fine, Amos. Just know one thing. When this is over, I will have that guitar. Just remember that you had the chance to give it willingly. Amos, I will see you later.
Sure thing. You know where to find me.
Amos and McCord need to do their job, and I refuse to go back to waving flags. Oh, let him sleep. Amos is probably running him ragged, hunting cryptids or something equally not worth thinking about. Deputy McCord, our newest recruit. I do not pay him to sleep. Well, I do not pay him at all, but he enjoys all the benefits of prison life with no incarceration. One cannot scoff at 3 meals a day and a roof overhead, correct? Oh, let him sleep. Amos is Why take anything from the medkit when you have top-notch insurance? If I get so much as a blister, a chopper descends to take me to the nearest hospital. Unless it involves me or my career, no need to get involved with an ongoing investigation. No chance I am drinking any of that.
You don't like water? Ha! Water!
He died without ever acknowledging you as his son, yet you have followed in his footsteps.
He was my father. And whether he thought so or not, it doesn't make me any less proud of his accomplishments.
Are you sure your mother was correct about your, lineage?
She wouldn't lie about something like that.
And Mr. Coltrane, who raised you and gave you his name, he never said anything either?
No. For some reason, my stepdad didn't talk to me about all my mom's ex-boyfriends. Where's all this coming from, anyway?
Nothing. I just find it surprising how devoted you are to the memory of a man who rejected you. The looks you give Sheriff Garrett's statue. Well, I never even saw you look at Gloria that way.
That statue represents why I fight for this town. And mark my words, Eliza, you may think I'm exaggerating the chipmunk problem, but I have the feeling those furry bastards are gonna be my William Bonney.
This town is too peaceful for all your vigilance, Amos. And honestly, how much damage can chipmunks do?
We'll see about that.
If Garrett's statue were to disappear, it would undoubtedly get Amos's attention. Unfortunately for you, I am not Houdini. Rattling the shutters is very noisy. I would rather let Lorraine sleep. Just the suggestion that I might be able to pick it up is amusing enough for me not to outright call you a numbskull.
Look, Eliza! She's going to write about my bar! I'll be famous! The sky is the limit!
Mayor Barrett, please, just a moment of your time.
Typical Eliza Barrett. Always stealing the spotlight.
What can I say, Max? The press adores me. What can I do for you, Miss...
Peterson. Nancy Peterson, of the New Mexico Times.
New Mexico Times? What happened to the old one?
Oh, that's a new one.
And she came all the way from Maine to ask about my bar. Isn't that amazing, Eliza? I'm gonna be on the front page of the paper.
I would like to ask you some questions, if you have the time.
Certainly. Who better to ask about our fair town?
Let us begin with a personal question. Who is Eliza Barrett? What's your story?
It all started with my ancestor Elijah Barrett. He came to this land aboard the Unsinkable. After the ship sank, his crew split up, and he and those loyal to him established this town.
Yes, I have heard this tale. The other group followed Juan Plata, and their paths never crossed again.
Ah, you know our local history. In any case, my family remained, and we have been leading the town ever since.
Then you must be grooming your daughter to take over once you retire, yes?
Yes, of course. By Harding's wandering eye, this town is doomed.
I seem to have struck a nerve. Let us discuss something else. Let us move on to the next question, shall we? Let's chat a little bit about this town, which you love and cherish so much. What are some important landmarks?
Well, tell me, what have you seen already?
Not much, to be honest. I barely had time. I spent the morning doing interviews, then went to the diner.
You ate at Mike's?
Duh! I've tried quite a few dishes. I even sampled his latest creation.
Do not worry, Ms. Peterson. Town Hall was prepared for this eventuality. Take this. The Michael Walker Survival Pack includes a timeline of what to expect in the next 24 hours. It also includes a roll of military-grade toilet paper with 200 layers of extra absorbent tissue, an acid-resistant plastic bag for vomit and other secretions, and a direct line to our patron saint, the Virgin of Guadalupe. Oh, one more thing. Where should we send the body?
This seems excessive. I actually feel fine.
Of course you do. For now.
Oh, I forgot to ask. I'd like to take some pictures of the town to accompany the article. Do I need a permit?
Of course not. Feel free to take as many pictures as you like. Just make sure you get my good side.
And don't forget to take a picture of my handsome smile as well.
It is quite handsome indeed, Mr. Powell. Tell me, what is your secret?
Oh, these aren't my real teeth.
I lost them all when my superior officer slapped me for insubordination that one time.
These beauties are what's known as the Swiss Army dentures. They've got everything a soldier needs. Cyanide pill, short-range laser-guided missile, grappling hook, fax machine, Bluetooth speakers. And they give me a smile to die for. Don't you think?
Let's talk about something else. Yours is the only town of this size in the state with an operational military airfield. Could you tell me more about it, please?
Our airfield was built in 1792 by Sir John Airfield himself, who actually invented the concept.
But the airplane was not properly invented until 1903.
Well, Sir John was ahead of his time. He was the first to anticipate the eventual need for such a place. To be honest, this is our second airfield. The first was burned down during the War of 1812, around the same time as the White House.
Wait, the what burned down? What was it, arson?
Canadians, actually.
Really?
Canadians? World's going to hell. I haven't been this stunned since that coconut fell on my head.
Yes, quite a shock. No one expects the Canadian ignition.
Right. Let's go back to the airfield for a moment.
This is starting to sound more like an article about the airfield than the town. What are you, Miss Peterson? A journalist or a Soviet spy?
What paper did you say you worked for again?
The Santa Fe Herald?
I thought you said...
This interview is over. I mean, thank you, Miss Mayor. That will be all.
A little busy right now, Eliza. Why don't you drop by later?
Ridiculous. A cardboard volcano cannot be following your movements. Stop being paranoid, Eliza.
Mr. Powell, you are a veteran, correct?
That's right!
I have absolutely no business with the water tower. Max, about that free drink.
Not yet, Eliza. The bar's not even open.
Just the suggestion that I might be able to pick it up is amusing. I have no business at the bank right now. Must be careful with these alarms. They are easily triggered.
For a limited time only, you can buy one taco for the price of two and receive a second taco. No extra charge.
Don't let your vote end up in a landfill. Vote Barrett. There must be a way we can use Amos's fondness for Sheriff Pat to lure him outside the police station.
Is Amos gonna give my guitar back?
Highly unlikely.
Oh, one fewer vote for Barrett. Look at that. Did you want something?
I will be on my way now.
Have a good night, Miss Mayor.
What a successful night! I managed to shift every single meatball without anyone noticing they were mostly sawdust, and I got enough leftovers in the storage out back to set up a buffet tomorrow. Yep, everything's going my way. Nothing could ruin this good mood I'm in. God damn it, Mike. Why do you always talk so much?
Now this is how I like to see the place.
You mean, like, clean?
No, empty.
Why are you in here bothering me? Isn't there a baby somewhere you need to steal candy from?
Ah, Michael, did I spoil your evening just by showing up? Good. I have had as much Michael Walker as I can stand for the day. There must be a way we can use Amos's fondness for Sheriff Pat to lure him outside the police station. Excuse me, Max, but I need to borrow the reporter. It will not be long.
What a surprise! Eliza Barrett's stealing the spotlight!
There are some things I would like to ask you, Ms. Peterson.
Oh, if you insist.
How is your article coming along?
Very well, thank you. I must say, I was really excited when they offered me this piece. It is not every day you meet such a brilliant, charismatic woman who will run the country one day.
Oh, Miss Peterson, I am honored.
But sadly, the mayor of Corona cancelled.
I see.
Mayor Barrett, it was only a joke. I am very happy to interview you, of course.
When will the article be published?
As soon as I return to headquarters, I will hand it over to my superiors. They will make sure your town is on the cover of the next Albuquerque Journal.
Excellent. But I believe you said you work for the New Mexico Times.
Oh. I am sorry, I misspoke. Of course, we are an imprint of the Albuquerque Journal. And your town is so wonderfully charming that I think it will make the cover of both publications.
Then I trust you have a good working relationship with the editor-in-chief, correct? Could you tell me his name, please? I would like to send a gift basket of fine local products to show my appreciation.
Of course. It's Vladimir Feikov.
What? What happened to Ken Parcel? I spoke with him just last week, and he did not say anything about leaving.
He retired. Yes, retired. Very suddenly. We even threw him a surprise party.
I see. The thing is, Ms. Peterson, I just made that name up. The editor-in-chief of the Albuquerque Journal is my good friend, Edwig Minster. He has no plans to retire, hates parties with a passion, and despises cake.
No comment.
I cannot help but notice your recording device. I have been assaulted by multitudes of reporters, but have never seen a machine such as yours.
Oh, this little thing. My mother made it for me. She's really good at tinkering.
Shiny! Anyway, what I was trying to say was, I need your recorder, Ms. Peterson.
And I need some classified information. Perhaps we can arrange a trade?
You think a mere tape recorder is worth the price of confidential information I might possess?
As I mentioned, this one is very special to me. So, It makes sense that I need something special in return, yes?
Perhaps there is something in my office that might satisfy her. If you have the time, Ms. Peterson, why not pay a visit to our local high school? Principal Peanut has recently arrived, and I'm sure she would be an excellent interviewee.
Actually, I was planning to go there next. I want to ask the principal how she feels about your plan to sell the coyotes to Corona for your own benefit.
That is how these silly rumors start. A naive journalist unable to separate fact from fiction. Who told you such a lie?
I might have told her about your upcoming trip to Seychelles.
So, you're willing to sacrifice the local sports team to finance your own vacation?
This town is in the middle of the desert, Ms. Peterson. We all need a way to cool off. People's lives are at stake here. Think of the welfare of our children, to say nothing of their mothers.
Well, that's the first time I've ever heard you refer to yourself as mother. Wait, does that mean you're taking Betty with you?
Oh, are you going to miss her? Well, I suppose I could leave her with you.
Oh no, that's okay. You girls need anything? Towels, beach hats?
The evidence is piling up, Ms. Mayer. What do you have to say in response to these allegations?
Ms. Peterson, do we not all sweat under the harsh desert sun? Do we not all wish we could refresh ourselves during the summer months? Criticize me if you want. Vilify me if you must. Place an effigy in the square and set it afire. But you will take my mojito from my warm, tanned hands.
Bravo, Eliza.
Now, let us change the subject. All that genuine concern for my community has parched my throat. Tell me, how do you like our little town?
It's quaint, but it has charm. I think perhaps my favorite thing here is the food at Mike's Diner.
I apologize. I think I just hallucinated. What did you say?
The meatball butterbrot is to die for.
That is not food, Miss Peterson. That is nothing but a struggle against death itself.
I may go for another one later.
Just remember, in case you need it, the hospital is fully equipped to deal with such an emergency. Are there any more questions you want me to answer?
Now that you mention it, it would be good to get an insider's view on your personal life. On that note, what can you tell me about your relationship with Lincoln Porter, ace of the local airfield?
Who says I have a relationship with Mr. Porter? I cannot confirm nor deny that information.
Oh, well, if he is available, maybe I should ask him out. Perhaps he could take me somewhere special, like the airfield.
It is, as they say, a free country. Make all the mistakes you like, Miss Peterson.
Perhaps he and I could have a private interview session. After dining by candlelight, of course. And perhaps in the cockpit of his plane.
Oh, I've got a cockpit for you right here, you nosy little harpy. I'm gonna...
Eliza! Calm down. Think of the votes.
This is beneath me. Best of luck with your date. I must know, how long are you planning to stay?
Not much longer. I'll gather information for a few days, then take the first flight to Moscow.
I beg your pardon. Did you say Moscow?
Oh, yes. Moscow, Idaho. What did you think I meant?
I suppose I thought you might return to Albuquerque. Is that not where your paper is based?
Yes, of course. But I must give a special report in Moscow first. The life of a journalist is very busy.
Anything else you want to know?
You have taken a lawless, poverty-stricken outpost and turned it into the beautiful town it is today. To what do you owe your success?
To my father, actually. He was the first mayor to address the social issues and the hygiene.
But is his daughter a worthy successor?
I would say she is more than a worthy successor.
Based on your daughter Betty's school performance, do you think she will be a good mayor?
Next question, please.
All right. It says here that your daughter has publicly stated that her dream is to be the assistant manager of a local diner.
Next question.
Well, I'm afraid I don't have any more questions.
Good. Then we are done. That will be all for now, Ms. Peterson.
Certainly. I'll be around if you need me.
Please, Eliza, stop it! I don't want to scare off the reporter. Eliza, why don't you go play with something? There are some fireworks over there. Just go light them somewhere else. Is this because of that time I tickled you while you were having a phone interview? Is this your payback? Come on! Stop it, or I will have to take extreme measures.
Maybe we should just let him finish his interview in peace.
Well, well, what a pleasant surprise. To what do I owe this visit from such a distinguished figure?
Oh, Sam, you always know just what to say. I came to see your new venture, of course. You know I take great interest in local business.
You can't fool this old wolf, Eliza. You're here to ask for my vote, aren't you?
You can read people like a book. I have always admired this about you. You never told me who you plan to vote for.
Well, there's always room for improvement, as they say. Perhaps it's time for a change in leadership.
Oh no, not you too.
Relax, Eliza. I was joking. Although, if someone put up a sign for the motel on the highway...
Well, that sounds simple enough, but I would have done it without the blackmail.
One can never be too careful with you, Eliza.
I am glad to see the motel up and running. Although I still think you should have opened a fine dining establishment. It would be a great opportunity to
steal customers from Mike's and put him out of business, right? I told you before, I'm telling you again. Keep me out of your squabbles with Mike.
Well, you cannot blame a girl for trying. Is something the matter? You look particularly sad today.
Don't you remember what day it is? Today is the 10th anniversary of the Great Fire. It should be my son standing here today and talking to you, not me.
I am so sorry, Sam. Truly, we all lost so much that day.
Friends, family, and the most heroic bear the world has ever seen.
Wouldn't be so much of a loss if you'd have let me cook him.
Well, if you need anything, you can count on me. You know that.
Thank you, Eliza. I'll make sure to fill out the right forms this time.
You sure I can't cook that bear? It's been 10 years already. You know, aged meat is on the rise. I'll even give you a 5% cut of the profits. Fine, 10%. 30%?
I would like to know more about this motel of yours.
Ask away.
Why a motel of all things?
It was my son's dream to build a place where weary travelers could rest from their journeys. Somewhere with good food, great company, and rooms at knockdown prices.
Wasn't your son's dream to become a pilot?
Well, yes, it was. The motel was pretty far down the list, but he was too clumsy for ballet, and we all know what happens to aspiring chefs around here.
Well, while he may not have sought the motel owner's life, I know he would be proud of you. Tell me about your breakfast menu, because I know you cannot cook to save your life.
Well, yeah, about that. I've had to bring the food in from the bistro in Corona.
Please, excuse me, Sam. My hearing must be failing me, because I could swear I just heard you say Corona.
What alternative did I have, Eliza? Order from Mike's?
God, no. I hate to say this, but I suppose you had no other choice.
Now, keep it to yourself. The last thing we need is for Mike to find out about this. Who knows what he'd be capable of?
Hey, Mike, what brings you here?
Hey, Ben. Just the usual.
Sure thing. 50 gallons of my super flammable mix ready to go.
I would suggest finding another caterer. The sooner the better. How are the rooms?
The very best you'll ever find. Why not spend the night here and try it for yourself? On the house.
I would love to, but... Listen, Sam,
Before you answer, think about this. A romantic night with Lincoln, away from prying eyes. And, more importantly, away from Betty.
You sly fox. You had me the moment you said away from Betty. Besides, my back could use a break from that coffin.
Then it's settled. A room for two next weekend. You'll love it.
Enlighten me as to your business philosophy.
Simple. Affordable accommodation for everyone. No pointless extra charges.
Define pointless, would you?
With every booking, I offer a free breakfast and complimentary toiletries. No charge for things like parking, cancellations, using the ice machine.
I have heard enough. Sam, this cannot go on. I will not stand idly while total strangers rob you blind.
Oh, not this again.
Yes, this again. And pay attention this time. In fact, write it down. Start by adding the following to every bill. Booking fees, cancellation penalties, baggage handling, water, gas, keys.
Be reasonable. I can't possibly charge people for using their room keys.
Do you know how badly you could hurt your wrist every time you hand them over to a guest? Now, considering the beautiful scenery surrounding this place, you could easily charge for the view.
What view? There's nothing but rocks and cacti here. Am I supposed to charge people just for arriving?
Exactly. You are beginning to understand. Now, one last thing, the most important one, a calculation fee.
What the hell is that supposed to be?
Why, compensation for adding up the other fees, of course.
You know what? Seems like my mind's been changed for me. You wouldn't mind helping an old friend set this whole thing up, right? I'm not great with numbers.
Of course I would. For a fee. Oh, relax. I love paperwork too much to pass up this opportunity. I should have it all drafted by the end of the week. I must be going. I have a lot of campaigning to do.
Eliza, if you don't mind me saying, you look like you slept poorly.
Well, I had some bizarre dreams. But I am quite certain that the coffin my offspring replaced my bed with is to blame.
I had a strange dream myself.
What about?
A goose flew from its nest after nuzzling with its mate and soared through the skies. Then suddenly, the sky clouded. Lightning struck the bird. and it fell like a stone, spiraling until it crashed onto a newborn tree.
Oh, that is strange, indeed. But it was only a dream, Sam. You should not give it too much thought.
You bothering me for a reason, Miss Mayor?
I never bother anyone. And actually, yes. Why do you have a house on the hill if you spend most of your nights here?
Well, hey, it's a sign of success to have two homes, even if neither of them is a house.
Why don't you park your trailer somewhere safer than halfway off a cliff?
Ha! Nice try, government. You can't take my property just 'cause you want to build yourself a house with a nice view. And don't you be going up there if I ain't around. You hear?
Bullocks. I have heard quite a lot of stories about your time in the army.
I'm not a World War III veteran for nothing.
Benjamin, there have only been 2 world wars.
Lots of bombs in my lifetime, miss. I might have some mental gaps here and there, but I still remember most of my time in Japan.
Tell me more about your deployment.
What do you want to know?
Did anything interesting happen during your deployment?
Oh boy, you have no idea. I was young and inexperienced when I went there, but...
Benjamin, it's been 2 years since the war, and you're over 50.
Exact. Young and inexperienced. Man, it was an adventure. The food, the fight with the Yakuza, my stint as a sports star.
How did you deal with the language barrier?
Well, that was a pickle, ain't gonna lie. Despite popular belief, them Japs don't come with subtitles.
I suppose the next thing you are going to tell me is that you actually learned Japanese.
Houshokan wa doku desu ka?
Nice try, but you probably read that on a package of noodles.
They said my Japanese was better than my English.
You became a sports star in Japan during World War II?
Darn right I did. I took the sumo championship by storm.
Really, Benjamin? Sumo wrestling? With your build, you couldn't take down a fly.
Yeah? Well, tell that to poor old Kuraiji chicken. Bastard threw me so hard I nearly hit a plane on the way up.
That does not bring Sports Star to mind, Benjamin.
Yeah, he left it up too. But as the Roman said, gravity favors the brave.
I cannot believe what I am hearing.
Don't believe me? Well, next time you're in Japan, ask about the flying baby gaijin.
Tell me about your encounter with a Yakuza.
Well, I just met this guy who was missing a pinky, so I thought I'd ask how that happened. Maybe he cut it off peeling potatoes or something, you know?
Please tell me you did not ask it literally like that.
I sure did. And he was so furious about it that he even challenged me to an honor duel. And I get it. Honor's important. So I took him up on that.
Of course you did.
I'm pulling your leg, Miss Mayor. I ran the hell out of there.
Benjamin, these people never let go of a grudge, much less over an affront like that. What if they come after you?
No, they never find me here. And even if they did, we all look the same to them, so I'm safe.
Did you meet anyone interesting in Japan?
I might have done.
Oh, you rascal.
Her name was Akagi. She was the first person I met besides the boys in my unit. Now, when we first got together, I could have sworn she was a spy. Then we got to talking, then flirting, and before I knew it, we was talking about getting hitched. Well, it didn't work out. At least I'll always have these beautiful memories.
What happened?
Well, you see, that's the part I don't like talking about. It was the beginning of August 1945, and I got recalled to the U.S. We were both excited that our firstborn was to be born on U.S. soil. Well, that was mostly me. I left and she told me she'd catch up with me once she said goodbye to her parents on some island named Miyajima.
Oh, no.
And that's pretty much it. Once I arrived back here, I never heard from her again.
Oh, Benjamin.
Why didn't she show up? Was it something I did?
I am sure that it was not your fault that time, Benjamin.
Thanks, Miss Mayer.
What happened in the Philippines?
We got ambushed and captured by the enemy. Oh, they tried to make us talk, but we showed them that we were not gonna tell them anything. Not because we didn't want to, because we didn't know nothing.
By Roosevelt's Rough Riders. They tortured you?
Torture? Shoot, nothing so civilized. No, they took us out of our cages, gave us a cold shower, and suited us up.
Suited you up?
Yeah, those bastards punished us by making us do our own intake paperwork.
Paperwork as a punishment? How interesting.
Interesting? No, ma'am. Had to carve a stamp out of my bunkmate's foot.
Could you not have found a piece of wood or something?
Well, yeah. Why do you think I chose Peg Leg Dave's foot? Don't worry, he's fine. He got a job in the barbecue seat.
Oh, the bureaucracy. Wait, are you talking about David Pierce in accounting? The stamp dancer? What a legend. It was such a shame we lost him to Broadway. Couldn't you have come up with a better use for your veteran stipend than opening a gas station?
Ever since I was a wee lad, it's always been my dream to own an oil refinery. But since that's pretty expensive, a gas station's the next best thing.
Benjamin, this town has a handful of cars. You could have done something better.
Maybe so, but nothing compares to the fresh smell of democracy and freedom that oil emits.
I cannot argue with that. Nice talking with you, Benjamin, but I have places to be.
Y'all come back now.
I feel my suit looks better without bullet holes. And, as a matter of fact, so do I. Considering Benjamin is a bit trigger-happy, it is best to be mindful of my movements around here. I already got close enough when I cut the ribbon, and I plan to keep it that way. If Garrett's statue were to disappear, it would undoubtedly get Amos's attention. Unfortunately for you, I am not Houdini. I am sure the statue will be unaffected by this small explosion, but it should cause enough commotion to distract Amos for a while.
What's going on? What was that noise? No! Oh my God! This can't be happening!
Well, I finally managed to retrieve this accursed guitar. Mr. Huckleberry had better be grateful. Oh, good evening. I believe the sheriff is indisposed at the moment. but he should be with you in an hour or two.
Not so fast, Ms. Mayor. I'm not here for the sheriff. I'm here to make sure you don't get away with what you've done.
I have no idea who you are or what you are talking about, but I am far too busy for this. Now, if you will excuse me, Ms.
Hart, yes, Ms. Hart. I'm the new mayor of Corona. And I am more than willing to tell the sheriff who really blew up that statue.
Ms. Hart, I believe we got off on the wrong foot. Let us start anew. Would you care to explain why Corona's mayor is wasting her valuable time in my town?
You'd better get used to seeing my face around here. Because I'm running against you for mayor of this hellhole.
Well then, in the spirit of democracy, may the best candidate win, Ms. Hart.
Oh, thank you, Ms. Mayor. I will.
Of course you will, by a landslide even. And you will go on to win the next election too.
Of course I will, and then
will advance in your career, becoming one of the most respected and important women in American history.
Yes, that's exactly.
And then, once you have risen to heretofore unknown heights of success and influence, you will open your eyes and realize it has all been a dream. Wait, Corona's elections were just last month. How can you be running for mayor here?
Oh, I didn't resign, if that's what you're asking. I plan to be in charge of both towns.
You cannot be mayor of two towns at once.
Oh, but I can. See, I recently passed this little piece of legislation that allows the mayor of Corona to take on additional responsibilities in the county without giving up their position. Convenient, is it not?
Still, you will never win an election in this town. The people adore me.
Ha! Certainly not me!
See? The people are ready for a change.
Ha! Change! I'd still rather vote for Eliza than for you, sweetheart.
What was it you were saying, Ms. Hart? Since you are the new mayor of Corona, how did you manage to get Mr. Wiggins to cede the position of mayor?
Oh, he was only too happy to appoint me mayor and enjoy his well-earned retirement.
He would not have given up his chair even if it were in flames. What did you do?
You might enjoy this, actually. Did you ever hear about Operation Altar Boy?
What politician worth her salt has not? But why? Oh no, you did not.
Oh, but I did.
And did you?
Yes, twice actually.
And did he see the...
Oh, he certainly did.
Pardon me. Where were we again? We should talk about the former residents of that raised orphanage.
Oh, so now you care about child welfare.
Those children need a home, and you are partly responsible for solving the problem.
Well, I'm sure we can resolve this in no time at all. Let's set a date and work together. You can't say it either, huh?
I suppose the children are comfortable enough for now. We can table this for the time being. You could lift the ban Mr. Wiggins imposed on my offspring.
Why would I do that? A permanent ban for the biohazard incident seems perfectly reasonable to me.
To be fair, while my offspring may have brought that radioactive iguana to your town, it being explosive was entirely Michael's fault.
I don't care. Your daughter is a menace. I want her as far away from me, Corona, as possible.
I will not argue with that. But are the wanted dead or alive posters really necessary?
Yes!
Well, let me just say, I do not envy you.
Oh, but you will. Especially once I make your town part of Corona. And force you to scrub the bathrooms with a toothbrush.
Thank you for the insight, Ms. Hart. Now I know what to do with you once you lose. How did you know I was here?
Oh, that was easy. All I had to do was follow the trail of pain and suffering you leave in your wake.
I do not leave a...
Point proven. Did you blow up that statue just to get your hands on that piece of evidence?
This is not evidence, Miss Hart. It is called a guitar. Now, you will stop making wild accusations, or I will beat you senseless with it. Up to you. Will you be staying here long? If so, I know a place for you to lay your head.
Silencing me will get you nowhere, Ms. Barrett.
No, you paranoid goose. There are lovely rooms available at...
You can't lock me in one of your jail cells and expect that to shut me up. Your dictatorship ends here, Ms. Barrett. You might imprison me, but you won't win.
What the hell?
Go ahead, lock me up and throw away the key. Do your worst, but I will not be silenced. No matter what you do to me, I will rise above it and free this town from your tyranny.
Are you finished yet?
No, but you will be after this very public disturbance. Nothing like a little defiance to weaken the enemy's authority after all.
I cannot help but feel I know you from somewhere. What did you say your name was?
Oh, I already told you everything you need to know. If there's anything else, I'm sure someone as brilliant as you can figure it out.
It would save some precious time if you just told me.
You'll have all the time in the world to figure it out. Once I kick your ass in the election, that is.
Is that how you want to play it? By the time I am done with you, watering Chuck will be the only job you will ever get.
Chuck? The plant?
The one and only. On second thought, I tire of this conversation. Why do you not go back to Corona and admire my work from afar? Who knows, you may even learn something.
What is there left to learn? I've already studied everything there is to know about you. Every radio speech, every TV appearance, every article and book you've written. I've seen it all.
Oh, I see what is going on here. Oh my, why didn't you say so sooner? To my most special admirer, Ms. Hart, thank you for your support in the upcoming election. There, let it not be said that Eliza Barrett cannot recognize a fan when she sees one. Now, off you go. I have much left to do tonight. He might need a while. After all, he was deeply attached to that piece of rock.
My baby! Out of sight! Ready to start recording?
I have yet to find any tape, so no. Before I hand this to you, you must promise to keep it safe. It is for your eyes only. Do not mention anything in your article that could betray military secrets.
Don't worry. Nothing I'll do with that information will damage my country in any way.
Pleasure doing business with... Wait, where is the tape?
You asked for the recorder and you have it. As for the tape, well, you strike me as a resourceful woman. I'm sure you'll manage.
Wait, you had another one this whole time?
A reporter is always ready for any situation, Miss Barrett.
I have no time to waste on idle... Very well, Mr. Huckleberry. Let us get started. Now, Mr. Huckleberry, I have upheld my end of the deal. I expect you will do the same.
Not so fast. You gotta send it to Crooked Deal Records. They'll do the rest.
Excuse me? Why do I have to do that?
'Cause it was your idea to put Amos in charge of the mail?
Fair enough. Send this to Crooked Deal Records. It is urgent.
Can I finish crying first?
If you must. But I made a campaign promise to send this out today, so cry quickly, please. All things considered, today has been a good day for the Barrett administration. Time to head home and get some well-deserved rest. Well, well, well. My offspring trying to sneak home after staying out too late. What a surprise.
Stop calling me that, would you?
Now, what weak excuse do you have to offer me this time?
I was at the school library studying for finals.
There are no final exams in the middle of summer.
I was obviously studying for next year's finals, duh. Everyone else does what they want. Why can't I?
If everyone else decided to jump off a cliff, would you jump too?
I mean, like, everyone?
No. The answer you are looking for is no.
Wait, what the hell was that?
Enough. Mary Elizabeth Anderson, go to your room now. Nothing ever seems to get through that thick skull of hers.
Hello, John.
Mr. President. Hello, sir. What can I do for you?
We have a situation in the Southwest, son. Are you familiar with a town called... in New Mexico?
Yes, I know it quite well.
I need you to go down there. Tonight. One of our birds just went dark after a mid-air collision. Usually that wouldn't be an emergency, but there was an A-bomb aboard. And if they crashed into what we think they did, things could get complicated. First, you'll need to recover our cargo. Next, find what hit our boys and bring it into our custody.
Understood, sir.
To ensure there's no chance of this getting out, you'll be launching Project Tranquility once you arrive at the target location.
Project Tranquility? The last I heard, that project was still under development.
Wexler and McGill assured me everything is ready to be tested.
With all due respect, sir, I don't feel comfortable field testing that equipment on our own people.
John, the state of the nation demands gentle handling, and this would cause one hell of an uproar. Whether you want to believe it or not, Project Tranquility's our best option. Besides, testing this now could prevent armed conflict in the future.
Understood. If I may, sir, the energy requirements of Project Tranquility are extremely high. How do you suggest we address that, sir?
We're in luck, General. The construction of the Mammoth Butte Dam was completed just a few weeks ago. It is scheduled to become the primary source of electricity for the area next year, but it's already fully operational. Now, this mission is of the utmost secrecy. You'll be going dark. I won't be able to contact you once you're in the field, so plan accordingly.
Yes, sir.
Well, you have your orders, General. I look forward to your report when you return.
God damn it. Attention all personnel! Prepare to mobilize immediately! Move, move, move!